Good evening and welcome to Honeoye Falls-Lima, where tonight we have Class B Section 5 football between the home HFL Cougars and the visiting Batavia Blue Devils. Cougars come into the game 0-2, while the Batavia Blue Devils come in 2-0. Peter Carosa here, joined alongside Steve Bradley for tonight's game. Steve, what are your thoughts here before we kick off?
Well, Peter, these two teams over the last several years have had quite a rivalry with a lot of close games, and it's a big game for both teams, just as a measuring stick here. The early season, HFL, with the losses at Waverly and to Monroe, definitely wants to show that it can compete with the upper echelon in Class B. And Batavia, that's had a lot of changes, the two-time Section 5 Class B champions. New coach, a lot of new players, 8 new starters on offense. They're out to prove that they're here to compete with Monroe this season.
So before we get started tonight, I want to go over the keys to the game brought to you by Bullfinch Fund. First keys to the game, all eyes on Bronx. Batavia's Buckholz has been a dynamic two-way threat for the Blue Devils. Coming into tonight, he's got 462 pass yards, 6 passing touchdowns, 231 rush yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns. The offensive play call for Batavia goes through him tonight.
Absolutely. First-year starter at quarterback. He's been a quarterback coming up all the way through the system, and Bronx Buchholz, as you mentioned, has just been impressive through the first 2 games. Our second key is a trench tussle. Peter, we were here for the Monroe game last week, and I think both of these teams know each other so well. They know what's coming, but it's really going to be who can control the point of attack to move people around and create space for their playmakers.
And the last key to the game brought to you by Bullfinch Fund, Graz versus Waz. Cole Grasnaplane is one of the top receivers in DBs in Section 5. He'll be lined up against Andrew Wazenreed, who was a third-team All-State player last year for the Cougars. He hasn't played yet this season, but the expectation is that he's good to go tonight, at least on one side of the ball, as we have the Batavia Blue Devils introduced, and now we move to the south end zone, where the home Honeoye Falls-Lima Cougars will be running out of their tunnel. Tonight's youth night in Honeoye Falls. We've got players ages elementary through middle school.
And this is really one of our favorite nights of the year, too, and this is how you build a program. Coach Russ has, in his 12th season now, has really kind of brought football back to HFL to the level that it's been contending for championships the last few years. And you do that by building the program and having the younger players see what Friday night lights are, get involved with football, and come all the way up. And to see so many kids lined up outside of that bubble right there, it's got to get you pumped up if you're coming out as a young player or if you're one of the Cougars.
So as we mentioned earlier, HFL comes in this game 0-2 for the first time since the 2016 season. Last week was their worst defeat since that same 2016 season. They lost 54-6 to Monroe a week ago at home. Meanwhile, Batavia picked up a big win over Class B rival Wayne Eagles.
Yeah, and I did get a chance to watch a little bit of that Batavia game. Wayne had a 14-12 lead late in the first half. Batavia got the ball back with just over 2 minutes left, executed a nice 2-minute drill culminating in a touchdown from Bronx Buchholz to Mullen. Carter Mullen, the receiver, gave Batavia a 20-14 lead at halftime, and the Blue Devils were able to pull away in the second half, winning 33-14. So I think that the key for HFL, too, is to stay in this game early. I think last week's game is more of a statement about where Monroe is than where HFL is. Monroe just came out and just showed that they're going to be tough to contend with for anybody in the section, and that's one of those games where if you're HFL, probably the biggest thing was putting it in the rearview mirror and getting the focus on tonight.
Yeah, and these two teams have had some great matchups the last couple of years. There was the 2 years in a row where they faced off in the Class B Section 5 championship. Last year we only got one contest between these two teams, and it was a tight one all the way to the end.
It was, and we were right here to broadcast that, and it was a one-possession game, and Batavia's clock management at the end was superior, and then as time was running out, fourth down play, they threw about a 50-yard touchdown pass to Cole Grasnaplane, ended up winning by 2 scores, but that game was very tight and very competitive, and I think everybody's hoping the same thing for tonight.
Now, the Batavia Blue Devils team has been on the field here for, at least they were announced, and they're on their sideline for the last 5 or so minutes. We're still waiting on the home HFL Cougars to come out. We got about 5 minutes left on the scoreboard here.
And we should mention that this is not a typical Friday night. In addition to us, there's another broadcast that is a live TV broadcast, so they'll control some of the commercials. There may be some longer breaks, some longer timeouts, and a later stop time. So it's not 100% like it is every other Friday night.
So almost on cue, here come the home HFL Cougars.
And as you mentioned, Peter, I think let's keep a close eye on number 11, Andrew Wanzenreed, supposed to be making his season debut. He's had an injury that's kept him out of the first 2 games, and him being able to take the field tonight, we'll talk about this in the not-too-distant future, could be a huge boost for the Cougars.
So before we have the coin toss, we'll have the national anthem sung here. That's moments away as we have a live look here at James Dollar Athletic Stadium on the campus of Honeoye Falls-Lima. Class B Section 5 football tonight on the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel.
At this time, please rise for the playing of our national anthem.
And we'll have the national anthem sung now.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
National anthem on tonight's broadcast sung by the HFL Select Choir, recorded version. As we'll have the captains now come out to midfield. And we'll have the coin toss. And we're just about ready to kick off here. Friday Night Football live on the Sentinel.
Peter, we've seen these teams so many times over the years. They know each other so well. I mean, what are you expecting to see tonight?
I think we're going to see somewhat of a feeling out process early in the game. I would be surprised if we go to halftime and see a lot of fireworks going into the halfway point. I think these two teams kind of know what to expect in a game against each other, and certainly going to be figuring out who has the better game plan to start, and then the adjustments as the game moves along. But I think that we might see close one to start, and then maybe we'll see how the halftime adjustments lead us down the stretch.
It sounds a lot like what Coach Alec Veltz told me from Batavia, is that he thinks the key for his team tonight is responding to HFL's responses. He expects to see a competitive and charged-up Cougars team, and he thinks the key for his team is how they adapt to what HFL does and the in-game changes that are made.
So tonight's captains, Matt Meacham, Ben Cook, Andrew Wanzenreed, and Austin Krigo for the Cougars. For Batavia, it looks like we have Brian Cauldron, Cole Grasnaplane,
It looks like
Nakai Fortes, and Brock Warren.
Yep.
So HFL will be kicking off, meaning Batavia will start with the ball first.
And if you're HFL, I like the fact that you get the defense on the field right away, try and make a play, and give the offense something to go for, especially coming off of last week's game where the first play Monroe was able to score on. So it's a good chance for the defense to come out and set a tone.
This kickoff brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. Alexander Enterprises specializes in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give them a call before you start your next project at 624-9120. So we just had about 3 minutes added to the clock. Current time here at the stadium is 7 o'clock. We anticipated a kickoff shortly after 7. Looks like 7:03 is going to be kickoff here at HFL.
And we talked about some of the changes with Batavia. It's a good chance to talk about the new coach, Alex Veltz. He replaced Brennan Briggs, who won 6 sectional championships in 11 years. Coach Veltz and Coach Briggs were actually high school teammates, with Coach Briggs being a year ahead of him. And Coach Veltz said that, Coach Briggs, even when he was a player, was one of those that set a high standard, never lost a sprint, was somebody that he looked up to. And having served as his offensive coordinator the last 2 years, he said, I was trying to meet Coach Briggs' expectations in that role. And he said one of the biggest things for him has been, instead of being somebody to try to meet the expectations this year, he's the one that's helping to set the expectations as the head coach. And he also is from the Gary Parisi coaching tree. And fans around Section 5, Gary Parisi, longtime coach. He was the Batavia coach in the early 2000s, went on to coach at Albion, actually gave Coach Veltz his first coaching job. Coach Parisi then went to McQuaid, where he made quite an impact as an assistant coach on Bobby Bates' staff and in the classroom. Unfortunately, he passed away during the 2021 spring season at the age of 61, but I know we saw Coach Veltz before the game. He even talked then about how important Coach Parisi was in his life.
So just over a minute left on the clock here at the stadium. Both teams should be coming out for the opening kickoff. So we had both teams interviewed by the local media, as you mentioned, game being telecast live on television tonight. Interesting, the news media asked both teams for a score prediction, and it was the head coaches of both squads that gave their prediction. Batavia's head coach said, we think it's going to be a one-score game in favor of Batavia, and head coach John Russ for the Cougars said, we just hope we're going to beat them by 1.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting dynamic on the morning show, and when we had Coach Russ, our discussion with him last night, we kind of kidded him a little bit and said, hey, we noticed that as soon as that question was asked, you took the microphone. And he's like, yeah, there's no way that I wasn't gonna answer that and put any bulletin board material out there. And, Peter, we've got the officials for tonight's game as we're getting started. The referee is David Cohen. The umpire, and I thought this was in the pregame, Billy Bowe. Linesman is Rob Austin. The line judge is Tom Brown. And the back judge is Brian Labigan. So, strong officiating crew with us tonight. And just hoping for a great game. Both sides. We're 12 minutes are on the clock, and kickoff should be forthcoming here in just a few seconds.
And if you caught our pregame show, we were showing 63 degrees and sunny. It is expected to cool off as the sun goes down and we work ourselves into the evening. But other than that, great night here in Western New York for fall football.
Yeah, this is definitely September football weather. It's going to get darker a little bit earlier, and you're just going to feel the pads popping and the temperatures quite cooler than it was a couple weeks ago for the opener. So it's going to have that feeling of fall in the air. So we saw Andrew Wadsonry go through the warm-ups. We think that he probably will only play offense for the Cougars if he plays tonight. We asked Coach Russ about what having him back would mean to the team, and he just said that he opens up so many things that would be huge for us. He's not the biggest guy, he's not the fastest guy, but he's smart and he knows where everyone is supposed to be. His presence and his leadership help put us in the best position to succeed. he's a special kid, and a lot of kids on the team lean on him. It was funny during that TV interview, too. They kind of asked if there was somebody who helped with the homework and everything else, and Matt Meacham immediately said, yeah, shout out to Andrew Wanzenreed. He's the smartest kid I know. He helps us all with our homework.
So now we have the ball teed off, and it will be Matt Meacham, kickoff specialist for the home Cougars, kicking it deep to the Batavia Blue Devils. Gallo Williams and Grazio playing back inside their own 10-yard line as Meacham kicks it.
Good strong kick.
And it's fielded inside the 5-yard line, and away we go here in Honeoye Falls. Still on his feet, working up towards the 20, eventually tackled.
Harrison Houle there on the coverage, keeping the Cougars inside their own 20, or keeping the Blue Devils inside their own 20, and we'll meet the Cougar defense here.
So here's tonight's player to watch for the HFL defense. Defensive tackle Austin Kriego, senior 6'2", 255.
And I think what we'll see with Austin is that the defensive line play will be key. Batavia, even though they've had a lot of success in the passing game, they're still predicated on the run. If the Cougars can stop the run and turn the Blue Devils into pass first, that's good news for HFL.
So 1st and 10, Batavia handoff. And it's a long running play up towards midfield, past midfield to the 30, to the 20. One man to beat, and it's a touchdown. Makai Fortes takes the first snap, the distance, and Batavia strikes first.
Second week in a row, the Cougars have given up a big play on the first play from scrimmage. Huge hole off the left side there. Fortes gets to the 40-yard line. It turns into a foot race, and he is gone. Connor Finn gives it an effort there at the 20, a diving attempt, but there's no catching him. Blue Devils are on the board 22 seconds in.
So we'll have the extra point attempt.
Number 23 on the kick for the extra point.
This is junior Hunter Milham, and he's good. So Batavia 7, HFL 0. I guess that was the old announcer's jinx saying that it was going to be maybe a slow start tonight, but instead the Cougars find themselves in a similar situation as a week ago, giving up a touchdown on the first play from scrimmage.
Yeah, just kind of the worst-case scenario if you're HFL. You come out second week in a row, you give up a touchdown on the first play. Fortes has been a big play back for Batavia all season. Came into the game with 190 yards on the ground on 35 carries. That's his third touchdown, 5.4 yard per carry average. That's going to go up. There was a huge hole, and he got there, and stopping the run was going to be the key. Batavia didn't do anything fancy. They just did it really well.
If we could take another look at that play there, try and dissect as the two teams come out.
Yeah, so a great block there, a pancake block by 44. That's Maggio Buchholz, the younger brother quarterback, Bronx Buchholz. That really opened up that hole and paved the way for Fortes to get into the second level, and then he was gone.
So this kickoff brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. Alexander Enterprises specialize in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathroom, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give them a call before you start your next project at 624-9120. And it's number 0 for the Cougars. That's Connor Finn, who had a knee down. High school rules, he's down.
Yep,
can't giving himself up.
So nice job securing the ball. Cougars will start at their own 15.
So here's tonight's player to watch, brought to you by Bullfinch Fund. Invest right here. Andrew Wazenreed, number 11, looked like he was going to give it a go tonight. See him on the field near sideline here.
Yeah, he's paired up with in a dual formation. He's paired up with Michael Meisenthal. On this side, Cougars starting the shotgun.
So 1st and 10, going to be a pass play right to Wazenreed. We've got a flag in the backfield.
I think that might be a hit on the quarterback, Peter. That could be extra yardage for the Cougars.
It's going to be a minimal gain for HFL, pending the penalty. We got a personal foul, roughing the passer, as you called, Steve, against the defense. So that'll give the Cougars 15 yards and a new set of downs. That first down brought to you by HFMP. HFMP is proud to be celebrating 40 years of commitment to nourishing HFL athletes and their families.
And just a little bit too much excitement there by the Batavia defense. 15 yards puts the Cougars at the 30, where there's progress. Now, it's interesting that Meacham went to Wanzenreed right on the first play for the game, and they made that connection. And if you're HFL, you're hoping to see a lot more of that tonight.
So after the personal foul against the Blue Devils, HFL comes out with a trips formation. Another pass play. Meacham looking, has to step up, but he's sacked and just throws it away. Didn't hear a whistle, and then there's one, so that's an incomplete pass.
Yeah, a lot of pressure off the edge. Number 9, Bronx Buchholz, bringing it along with number 10, Fortes, on the other side. You got two of the top players in the offensive backfield who also can put on a lot of pressure defensively.
So that'll bring up second and 10 for HFL.
Cougars might be fortunate that wasn't a grounded call because it looked like Meacham was close to being in the grasp.
Yeah, hard to tell from our angle if there was any player in the area. Pass play again. Swing pass far side and immediately cut down. Ball is out. That was Mike Meisensaal who caught the quick swing pass, and he seems to be in a lot of pain. He was quickly dropped in the backfield.
Yep, and we're going to take a look at the replay.
So we'll have an injury timeout here at HFL. Don't want to speculate, but seemed like he was immediately wincing.
Yeah, it was a tough play in the backfield behind the line of scrimmage. He caught the ball, Batavia defense was right there, and you could tell by the reaction there that it was immediate pain.
So HFL comes out and they throw the ball on each of their plays just on this first possession. Something we expected, or?
With Wanzenreed back, I think so. I think they want to be able to move the ball and it almost use the pass to set up the run. They didn't run the ball a lot last week. I think there were only 9 carries in the game when Monroe getting ahead early. And, sometimes if you're able to get the defense coming forward, you can kind of go over the top or catch them with a draw play or something. And, Coach Dan Hoyt, the offensive coordinator, likes to mix things up, but I think with Wanzenreed back, you want to see what you've got for the rest of the game.
And similar start to a week ago offensively in terms of strategy, going with the short passes rather than maybe trying to spread things out. A lot of stuff quick near the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that, if Andrew Wanzenreed was 100% healthy, they might try to stretch the defense a little bit. But right now, for HFL, it's just a lot about building success and having one good play turn into 2 good plays and build a good series.
So that is number 3 for the Cougars, Mike Meisensaal, junior wide receiver, who's been getting he's been a benefactor of Wanzenreed not being able to play the first 2 games, been able to get some extra snaps. Head coach John Russ has been impressed with what he's been able to provide. He's currently walking off the field with the assistance of 2 trainers.
Yeah, and you hate to see that happen to anybody early in a game, and you just hope that the injury is not serious.
So that was a loss of yardage on second down. So the Cougars will be facing 3rd and 13 inside their own 30-yard line as play resumes here. Trips to the bottom. Got some pre-snap motion. Looks like this one's going to be against the Cougars. That'll back them up. Take another look here.
Yep. The tackle popped up a little early. Set the defense moving forward. 3rd and 13 becomes 3rd and 18.
Left tackle Aaron Fasek was the one who jumped. So 3rd and 18 now for the Cougars.
Same formation, Peter, as the previous play call.
Here's Meacham. Quick pass to Wanzenreed, and he's immediately met in the backfield. That's number 10, Makai Fortes.
And Fortes certainly off to a great start tonight. He has the touchdown run on the first play from scrimmage on offense. And Coach Velt said they move him around at outside linebacker. He gets pressure off the edge as a rusher, and he can cover the pass game. And he really went unblocked, closed in, and nothing there for Wanzen Reed to get there.
So Matt Meacham, punter for HFL, had a busy night last week, and he finds himself punting here, 4th and 19 for the Cougars on their opening offensive possession as Batavia scored on their first play. High snap, Meacham's got it. Spiraling punt, takes an HFL bounce at midfield, will continue to roll inside the 40 and be down at about the 34-yard line of Batavia. So that's where the Blue Devils will take over here.
Ball will be placed on 34-yard line, first down, Batavia.
Nice punt after the offense stalled. Meacham gets Batavia back towards the 35-yard line. 65 yards to go. Time for the Cougar defense to see what they've got.
And let's meet the rest of that HFL defense. Showed you the player to watch earlier was Austin Kriego. Here's the rest. Defensive end Holden Cam, Owen Eglert. Defensive tackle Ben Cook. Defensive end, 2 outside linebackers, Alex Steinhoff and Harrison Hoole. We have inside linebacker Aaron Fasik, cornerbacks Andrew Wazenreed and Paul Yacobucci. Landon Hammond and Connor Finn make up the safeties for this Cougar defense.
And just checking the alignment as we come back, Wanzen Reed, if he's not going to play both ways, he's probably not going to go on defense. Looks like number 9, Keaton Yates, who's in at that corner spot where Wanzen Reed might normally be.
Probably would have been Meisensalz, but with his injury, Keaton Yates being thrust into the lineup here for HFL.
And as they come to the line, he's facing off against Grazio Plain right now, and Grazio Plain has 13 catches through 2 games. We'll see if maybe Batavia sees that too and wants to go that way.
So Buchholz from the gun, going to run it. He's a dangerous runner. He's going to be wrapped up by a handful of HFL players, and check that. That was...
Yeah, that was Buchholz. You had it. And that's a good job by HFL. They won the point of attack that time, and Austin Kriego, with some help from his friends, it's a minimal gain. So good play there by the Cougars on the first play.
Got thrown off. They got the name Batavia across the back.
Everybody's got the same name, yep.
So the name on the back is now just as important as the name on the front. As it brings up 2nd and 8 for the Blue Devils. Buchholz from the gun, collects the snap, going to hand off to Fortes. He's got another big running lane, and it's Keaton Yates. Makes a tackle, but not until after a first down for Fortes, up at about the 45-yard line.
Yeah, Fortes has had 2 great runs there. There's the pull by Calderon. He didn't really even have anybody to block right away. The hole was there, and nice gain for Batavia. And Fortes is the thunder in this Blue Devils backfield. And then number 22 for Batavia, that's Joseph Maranko, is the Lightning. So
1st and 10, Buchholz to hand off to Fortes, breaks the initial tackle in the backfield, and he'll pick up about a yard.
Actually, I misspoke. It's Zalian Griffin, number 24, who is the change of pace back for Batavia. But that's the first time that HFL really slowed Fortes down. Kriego, really good penetration, contact in the backfield, and a minimal gain.
And we talked about at the top of the broadcast, keys to the game was trench warfare, and tussle in the trenches.
And to me, Peter, I mean, I know that they say that every game, but to me, for this game, that was the most meaningful, just to see who would hold up the best against each other.
Swing pass out in the direction of Grazio Plain, and he's able to work up towards midfield. Looks like Cougars are starting to maybe put a couple extra in the box there, daring Batavia to throw the ball.
I think so. I think especially after that big run on the first play, they're going to want to make sure that they take away the run. And Grazio Plain made a nice move there on the short pass to gain 5 yards. Otherwise, it was pretty well sniffed out by the Cougars. It was just a good move by Grazio Plain to pick up those 5 yards and give Batavia 3rd and 5.
And a nice recovery there by Connor Finn. It looked like he might have been beat, but he's able to get back in position, make an open field tackle, and hold it to a gain of 3 or 4 yards. As we have 3rd and 5 for the Blue Devils. Pass play. This one's
Ball's
to
on the
Grazio.
turf.
Now they're going to say that was incomplete, but could have been a dangerous play. Let's take another look. Believe that looked to be a forward pass.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he ever had full control of it. There was a little bit of a bobble as he took a step, but a fortunate break for the Blue Devils there too.
So that was a great stand by HFL defense after allowing the big touchdown run on the first play from scrimmage. Force Batavia now to face a 4th and 5. Job's not over yet.
Yeah,
Batavia
not in punt
going
formation.
for it. And Buchholz to pass. Throws one up, and it's going to be incomplete. In and out of the hands of Cole Grazio playing. He had a couple steps on the DB, unable to reel it in.
Yeah, and just a little bit overshot there. Batavia, Buchholz airs it out. Grazio playing is his number one receiver. And tough over-the-shoulder catch attempt at the 20. Ball falls on the turf out of bounds. Cougars get a great drive start at midfield.
So it's going to be just on the HFL side of midfield.
So
6:38 left in the first quarter. If we want to take a look at the rest of the starters for this HFL offense, offensive line, Aaron Fasik, Brody Burke, Patrick Adair, Mitchell Martini, and Austin Krigo. And the rest of the starting lineup brought to you by Bullfinch Fund. Invest right here. Running back Ben Cook, although that's a bit of a committee for the Cougars. Wide receivers Alex Steinhoff, Landon Hammond, Mike Meisensaw, who we did see get injured on that first drive, and quarterback Matt Meacham. We'll be paying close attention to see who maybe fills in at that position for the Cougars.
Yeah, that Meisensaw loss, if he's unable to return tonight, could be pretty significant on both sides of the ball. As you mentioned, that he had had an impressive camp. Maybe it's Paul Iacobucci that steps into that spot on offense.
Yeah, I would imagine he was, we talked about Meisensaw getting some extra reps at defense because of the Wazen Reed injury the first two games. It was Iacobucci who was getting extra playing time for the HFL offense, number 22. You might also see Connor Finn, kind of a utility player for HFL offensively.
And then you mentioned the running back by committee too, Patrick Donahoe, the senior, is also somebody I would expect to see involved in the run game and the short pass game for the Cougars. So this is a great opportunity for HFL. The defense did its job. Now it's really up to the offense to put together a good drive here and see what they can do. See if this is going to be the slugfest that we're anticipating.
So we have two running backs, one to each side of Meacham in the backfield. Snap. Handoff, first run play. It's Ben Cook for HFL. He's going to be over the 45-yard line. And Ben Cook is a player that just seems like if they get him the ball, he can do the work. He's averaging 8.5 per carry. But he's only touched the ball a handful of times so far.
Well, and he also is a starter at defensive end. So a little bit of that might be load management, as they say. And in the first two games, the Cougars have been behind so much that the run game really wasn't a significant option. It was more of a changeup. So maybe tonight the run is where we see the run game get more into the mix because we know the Cougars love the balance.
So the Cougars come back out in that two running back set, go right back to Cook, who's going to be met by a trio of Batavia Blue Devils.
Sheldon Seiverling, number 75, the first one there, 6'1", 275. He's a junior. He was a starter last year. He shed his block early, got there, slowed Cook down, and then there was a lot of help for Seiverling right after that.
So the Cougars find themselves in a 3rd and 7 situation on the Batavia side of the 50. Probably 4-down territory. You'd think about if you're HFL, if you can make this 4th and close.
As long as this is not a negative play.
So they go with the pass play, quick pass to Cooks. And he's powering ahead, and he's going to be about a yard short of the line to gain. So early decision now for the HFL offense, whether or not to stay out on the field.
And I don't think it's much of a decision for Coach Russ. I think that given the opponent and given the fact that they got the big defensive stop, you want to capitalize right here.
So we'll call it 4th and 1 at the 41-yard line of Batavia.
It's a Wildcat formation with Finn. Matt Meacham is down here, so they've got a gadget play lined up here, Peter.
So on 4th and 1, we got a flag pre-snap.
That's almost always on the offense. Yep.
We've got a false start against HFL. So that'll make it 4th and 6.
Tough penalty right there. They had a formation with a special play. Connor Finn was in the shotgun formation, and that changes Coach Russ's mind. They go from going for it to having the punt team out.
So they're going to look to pin the Blue Devils deep inside their own territory.
Well, special teams, we've seen HFL do some things on special teams over the years too.
Low snap. Meacham fields it. High spiraling kick. It's going to take a bounce at the 20. And this one might take a very favorable HFL roll inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. So a nice tactical play there by Matt Meacham. Batavia will be back with the football, 1st and 10, inside their own 10-yard line.
Yep, we're able to flip the field position. I'm sure there's a little bit of disappointment there with the 4th down penalty, taking away the opportunity to go for the 1st down. So now the Cougars will have to do some more work on defense to get the ball back for the offense. I do like the tempo of this game, though. After the first play, you kind of wondered and what the response would be. And so far, the response from HFL has been good.
1st and 10, Buchholz hands off. And we've got a flag on the play.
It was thrown by the referee in the offensive backfield.
That was Zaylin Griffin, the other running back for the Blue Devils, who we've mentioned has had quite a season so far.
10 carries for 95 yards, 9.5 a pop. But holding there on the Blue Devils is going to be half the distance to the goal. And going to be about, what do we think? Probably 2nd and 15?
Should be first and 15.
Yep.
Stops the clock, too. We're still in the first quarter of play. Batavia leading 7-0 over the home Cougars. Trips to the left side of your screen. It's a design quarterback draw. And Buchholz is not going to get a whole lot. He's going to get maybe up past the 5-yard line to the 6, so minimal gain, maybe 2 yards for the Blue Devils.
And seeing Buchholz, Coach Russ mentioned he reminded him a little bit of former HFL quarterback Tyler Fenty with his ability to be a power runner. He's almost like a second fullback out there. He just puts his head down and goes.
And for those who follow local D3 football, Tyler Fenty went on to have a great career at St. John Fisher, at the time college, now university.
Yes, yep.
2nd and 12 for Batavia.
Trips to the far side.
Buchholz rolls to his right, throws it, and that one's going to be too low. Intended for number 80. That's Justin Smith, the junior wide receiver for Batavia.
Good coverage there by the Cougars on that formation to the short side of the field. I believe it was 22, and that's Paul Iacobucci, the closest Cougar to the receiver there. Did a nice job breaking on the ball and coming up to make a play.
So 3rd and long for Batavia inside their own 10-yard line. Fans starting to get into the game here for HFL at home. Buchholz to pass. Throws caught. And that's number 6, Cole Grazio playing. Going to be up towards the 14-yard line, but he's going to be short of the line to gain, so it'll bring up 4th and about 3 yards.
Yeah, just a quick little curl route by Grazio playing, looking to see if he can break through the defense. HFL had 3 tacklers there, able to force the punt. This is Maggio Buchholz, the younger brother of Bronx Buchholz, back to kick.
Here's the snap, the punt. High end-over-end kick. This is going to take a Batavia bounce. Working its way towards midfield, crosses the 45. So the Cougars will end up with decent starting field position at the Batavia 47-yard line.
Basically right back where they started, Peter. Getting 1st and 10 at the 46, so nothing really more than an exchange of 6 plays.
And defensively, I know it's hard for us to tell, but do you think there were some adjustments after the first series, the long home run play that Batavia hit, and HFL maybe tightened up a little bit?
I think so. I mean, you see that on the first play, and you know that's just probably a pit in Coach Russ's stomach. And being a defensive coach, he definitely went that way. Screen pass here.
Screen play. This is to Patrick Donahoe, who's going to be up past the first down marker. So that's first down HFL, brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. The butchers at HFMP will cut your meat to order. It does not get any better than that.
Nice patience there by the Cougars. Let the pressure come in on Meacham. Matt read it well. Donahoe was right where he needed to be, able to get a nice gain down to the 36-yard line.
Under 2 minutes now in the first quarter. Doubles formation. Motion for HFL. Going to be a handoff. That's number 2 for HFL. Landon Hammond.
Little jet
on the jet sweep action.
Yep, jet sweep action. Hammond comes in motion. Meacham puts the ball in his belly, executes the throw. And a good job by the front 5 of HFL warding off that Batavia defense. And Hammond did a nice job picking his way for 8-yard gain. So 2 positive plays in a row. That's what we've been looking for HFL to do the last couple games. Just start building that momentum. Now it's really a play caller's dream. Dan Hoyt, we've seen him take a lot of shots in situations like this before.
So on second down, it's Cook who's churning ahead inside the 20-yard line. That's another HFL first down, brought to you by HFMP, whose 7 days of savings means you save every day. Check out their website or circular for details for their daily deep discounted item.
So we talked about the battle in the trenches right there. Mitchell Martini, number 50, and number 54, Patrick Adair, doing a good job clearing the way for Ben Cook. And Ben Cook, a physical punishing runner, did the rest.
So Cougars, with their first red zone possession here, go with 2 backs in the backfield. Meacham going to hand off. Up ahead, that's Connor Finn. Going to be about a yard short of the first down.
HFL in a really nice rhythm right here, going a little bit of tempo. Nice block by Ben Cook on the linebacker, gave Connor Finn a seam, and he took it forward. And I think, Peter, that's going to be the last play here of the first quarter.
Clock under 15 seconds. HFL's decision to run another play if they choose. Second and about 2 or 3 yards. And that's the quarter. So we will take a brief commercial timeout here at HFL before we start the second quarter.
Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Fresh breads, donuts, special cakes made every day from scratch. Our butcher still cuts your meats to order. Doesn't get any better than that. Hot pizza, fish fries on Friday. Order your favorite sub right here. Organic foods and healthy choices. Honeoye Falls Marketplace. We're true blue, local, uncompromised, quality close to home.
Tonight's game also brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. For nearly 30 years, Alexander Enterprises has been one of Rochester's most trusted contractors. They specialize in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give Todd and the folks at Alexander Enterprises a call before you start your next project at 624-9120. Main Street Cafe is your hometown cafe with a location in both the village of Honeoye Falls and the hamlet of Mendon. With a wide-ranging menu including breakfast sandwiches, paninis, wraps, salads, milkshakes, and fresh fruit smoothies, there's sure to be something for everyone. Be sure to ask about their catering service and how they can help create a unique menu for your next special event. Main Street Cafe prides itself on their fresh, made-to-order food and daily specials. Bullfinch Fund, fans who are sitting on IRA money that they don't know what to do with, or those who want to take control of their 401k money left at an old employer, should give Bullfinch Fund a call at 624-3150. Did you know a working teenager can become a retirement millionaire just by starting a child IRA? Want to learn more? Call your mutual fund, the Bullfinch Fund, at 624-3150. Bullfinch Fund. Invest right here. And with the Meehan Architecture Sports Update, girls volleyball defeated Batavia 3-0 last night at home. They travel to Pittsford Mendon next Tuesday. Meanwhile, it was the girls' soccer team that defeated Eastridge on Monday night 7-0, then lost a tough one to Greece Olympia on Wednesday. Next game is this coming Wednesday against Livonia. So, second quarter just about to get underway. Steve, what are your thoughts after the first 12?
I think we're in for a ball game here tonight, Peter. I like the way that HFL responded to that adversity of giving up the touchdown on the first play. Now it goes back to one of last week's keys. Finish. This drive has had a lot of rhythm, and the run game has been there. You just wonder, are we going to see that favorite slant pass, Andrew Wanzenreed from Meacham, maybe here 2nd and 2? Is it an opportunity to take a shot? Or are they going to keep doing what they've been doing, marching down the field? Great time to see what Dan Hoyt cooks up here.
Second down and 3 on the 11.
So Cougars come out with a single running back formation, pistol formation, with Cook behind Meacham. Cook shifts to Meacham's right, collects a snap, looking to his left, pump fake, lofts it up, got a man, and he's got Andrew Wanzenreed for the touchdown.
It wasn't the slant, but it was Meacham to Wanzenreed, a little bit of a fade pattern. Nice pump fake there by Meacham. He's looking at him all the way. Hammond runs a slant, drags the defense, one-on-one coverage on the outside. Wanzenreed's in the end zone with the football.
So Andrew Wanzenreed in his first game back after injury finds the Meehan Architecture end zone. Extra point now for HFL. This has been a bit of an issue in the first 2 games. We have Matt Meacham attempting the PAT. Here's the snap, the hold, laces out, kick up. And it's good. Tie ball game here at Honeoye Falls.
And I think given that time for the quarter, it was beneficial for HFL. They had second down, play caller's delight, and Dan Hoyt dials up one of his favorites.
Let's take another look at that touchdown play. The pump fake fade route. You saw the sideline throwing up their hands.
Yeah, I think everybody knew as soon as Matt gave that little shoulder shake that the receiver was going to be open, and it was just a matter of making the connection, and they've done that so many times. First time this season.
This upcoming kickoff brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. Alexander Enterprises specializes in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give them a call before you start your next project at 624-9120.
Well, the first play of scrimmage in each quarter has resulted in a touchdown, Peter. I don't think you want to go to the refreshment stand in between. You want to make sure you're in your seat at the start of the quarter because it's been super exciting. Now I think the thing to see is what does that do for this HFL team from a confidence standpoint? They put together the drive they needed to tie the game. How do they respond now that they're even?
So a squib kick onto the carpet, fielded by Makai Fortes for Batavia, and he's got a nice return up past the 35-yard line.
Yeah, Fortes is the real deal, Peter. There's been a lot of other people coming through Batavia the past years. Last year, Aiden Anderson, the last couple of years have been the name player, but Batavia's been strong on all levels, and you know, it's that old saying, you know, they don't rebuild, they reload, and you know, Coach Veltz was right too. He's going to look for the response from his team after they've experienced some adversity here.
And we talked about maybe the HFL defense making some changes after the first couple offensive plays for Batavia. I think now let's see if Batavia changes up a little bit, throw in a couple wrinkles, maybe try and adjust to the adjustments here.
That's a great point, and I'll address it after this play.
1st and 10. Low snap. Buchholz to throw. Tosses one up, and he just misses his receiver. That was Carter Mullen, and the defensive back for HFL fell over. That could have been a huge play for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, and you see the Blue Devils go right to the air. D-back fell down at midfield. That's a walk-in touchdown for Carter Mullen if they're able to make that connection. But in Batavia's first game of the year, they fell behind at 20-7 at Norwich. Bronx Buck Buchholz, in his first game as a starting quarterback, set a school record with 364 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. And also, Cole Grazioplane set a school record with 179 yards receiving. And a lot of that was because of the defense that Norwich was playing with 8 players in the box.
So after the incompletion on 1st down, run play here by Buchholz. Cutting back and forth through the middle of the HFL defense. He's going to wind up picking about 5 yards on that scamper.
Yeah, patient, determined run there. Buchholz fakes it to Fortes. Initial contact behind the line of scrimmage, and he's able to find a way to get 5 yards out of that. Just a tough run.
So it makes it a 3rd and manageable now for Batavia.
And Yates has been in at corner with Wanzen read down. Keaton Yates, the junior, number 9. He's out here to the near side of the field. I believe he's matched up with Graziaplane right here.
Pass play for Batavia. Pump fake. He's going to run it. And Buchholz going to get the first down. Out past the 47-yard line. So that'll give the Blue Devils a new set of downs.
And just good patience there. Buchholz, HFL had a good rush from number 5, Cooper Levine. Buchholz was able to pull it down and move forward and move the chains for his team. And that's the kind of thing he's done throughout the first 2 games. Just a poised play by the quarterback.
First and 10, Blue Devils, 47-yard line. This is going to be a quarterback keep. And Buchholz is stopped in the backfield, propped up, and then shoved over by a handful of HFL players.
Cooper Levine was the first one there. Second play in a row, he's had good pressure off the edge. He's able to beat the tight end. Scrape off there, right in the face of Buchholz. Good recovery block, but then there's 2 or 3 Cougars there to meet him. So just slowing Buchholz down there allowed the Cougars to get a positive play.
And that positive play for HFL means negative play. 2nd and 15 now for the Blue Devils. Come out with 2 running backs in the backfield. Buchholz to throw. Here's a catch by Fortes in the flat, and he's up past midfield. Going to be short of the line to gain, so it's going to bring up a 3rd and short yardage situation for Batavia.
Nice play design there. The 2 receivers were able to clear out the HFL defenders. Fortes comes under, easy pitch and catch, and get back about 10 of those 15 yards that were needed for the first down.
So Batavia, no man's land, potential 4-down territory.
I would think, depending on this play, as long as there's not a negative play for the offense, I think you take 2 shots here.
3rd and 4. Fortes, patience, works his way outside. And he's going to be tackled at the 30-yard line. Big pickup there.
He's been super impressive. Good patience there, waiting, cutting behind the block of 77, cuts again, has the first down, and really maybe a touchdown-saving play there by the HFL defensive back.
So we've got an official timeout.
Looks like there's an injury on the near sideline
for an HFL player. It's number 1, Ben Cook, who's walking over to the sideline being evaluated by trainers.
And did not see what happened on that play at all, Peter. So, again, you don't want to speculate.
Here's another look. Believe Cook was getting pancaked there by big number 77, Carvel Martino for the Blue Devils.
Martino listed at 6'2", 350, and he's only a sophomore, Peter.
So after the first down run, Batavia to pass. Buchholz steps up, and it's going to be gain of...
Right about the line. Nice job by Aaron Fasek there. It looked like Buchholz was going to have a seam, and Fasek is able to come off of his block, slide over right into the hole and get a nice tackle. And then there's a little bit of help there finishing it off. So HFL defense has tightened up a lot in the quarter and a half here.
And it looks like the spot says that he lost a yard, 2nd and 11. So that'll count as a sack for the HFL defense.
I mean, aside from Fortes, the HFL defense has been doing a really nice job. They got to do a little bit more to figure him out, I think.
And here's Buchholz, and he takes a big shot there. That was Aaron Fasek coming in from his middle linebacker position to clean up that one in the backfield.
You can look at Aaron there with the eyes, and again, he's able to fight off the block by number 55 of Batavia. That's Deshaun Wright. And Fasek, the one thing that's been most impressive this last two plays is the motor. He's been contacted, engaged, but he's still been able to fight that off and make the play. And that kind of second effort is really what the Cougars have been looking for.
3rd and 12 for Batavia. Buchholz from the gun to throw. Throws it up, and he just overthrew his man. He got knocked over, and there's the penalty. So a critical mistake there.
I think they're going to discuss this call because that ball was overthrown. There was contact, but it's almost after the ball hits the ground, Peter. I'm not sure how much it had to do with the receiver's opportunity to make a play on the ball.
Take one last look at it, and like you said, the contact isn't until the ball is well past the receiver.
Sometimes when there's long discussions like this, I mean, Batavia's coming to the line to try and make sure that it happens, but the chains haven't been moved yet. A long discussion often results in maybe a change.
Take another look.
And it looks just like the feet got tangled. It didn't look like it was an intentional play. And the officials are walking backwards, but...
And they're going to call a personal foul penalty, so not...
So it's not. It didn't have anything to do with the coverage. It's the contact with the receiver after the ball landed. Looked like it was more incidental than intentional to me, but I'm not on the field.
So that'll result in an automatic first down.
Austin Kriego trying to fire up the HFL faithful here as they defend this south end zone in front of the student section. Tough break there, I think.
1st and 10. Ball at the 16-yard line for Batavia. Here's the snap. Pass play. Buchholz over the middle. Caught. And he's just short of the touchdown. That was number 6, Cole Grazioplane. Just cannot get that final yard. So it's going to be 1st and goal for Batavia at the 1-yard line.
Yeah, crossing route here, and it looks like definitely a touchdown-saving tackle. Landon Hammond coming across, saving the touchdown, and then Hammond stayed on the field, and we've got trainers going to check on him as well. So as much as we talk about Wands and Reed and Meacham having that connection, you can see that too with Buchholz and Grazioplane. Buchholz came into the game with 20 completions and 27 passes, and 13 of those completions were to Grazioplane. So he's definitely his favorite target.
And this injury could result in some additional reshuffling to that secondary. We had the earlier injury to Meisensalz and Hammond now.
And with Wanzenreed out, that would mean that HFL's down 3 defensive backs. So definitely, time for next man up and people to take advantage of opportunities.
Fortunately for HFL, with the rule change a couple years ago, being able to get JV players to play at least 10 snaps at the varsity level, you hope those pay off in situations like this where you get guys on Friday nights playing a handful of snaps trying to get experience as
well. Here's
good
a great
sight
sign,
there.
though. Yeah, Landon Hammond is jogging off the field. Patrick Donahoe did go into the HFL huddle, and Hammond's given a message to his teammates, but
Hammond's trying to go back in, but I think he's got to sit a play out.
Well, they called a timeout. I thought that he had to set one out too, but he jogged toward the sidelines, and he got to the huddle, and he rejoined his teammates. 1st and goal at the 1. I think it's probably Buchholz time here if you're Batavia.
Now we got a stoppage. I didn't hear the whistle for a timeout.
So I think it was an injury timeout.
I think he's got to come out.
They're sending him off. Yeah, not surprised by that at all.
Yeah, so HFL did not take a timeout there. Landon Hammond's got to sit out at least one play. It's going to be 1st and goal for Batavia at the 1-yard line. They come up in an old-fashioned I formation, and it's going to be a run play. Buchholz, and he's not going to get there. That's a play we saw a couple times last night, something that the Philadelphia Eagles run so efficiently, but it's the Cougar defense that's able to make a stand there at the 1-yard line.
Right. the Batavia, though. Second down, they'll have other cracks at it, although looks like they actually lost yardage. They look to be more at the 2 than at the 1.
Yeah, ball definitely back from the 1 yard line. Tough to tell from our vantage point. But second and goal for Batavia. They come back out in that I formation. Cougars loading the box. Buchholz, toss play, Fortes, and he waltzes into the end zone. But we have a flag. There's a flag on the field.
And it's a hold against the Blue Devils.
So the touchdown by Batavia is wiped off. Take another look here.
Probably
Looks
right
like
there
number
on the
75
outside. Yeah,
on
right
Cooper Levine.
Yep, and I think Seiberling knew it because as soon as Fortes cut back, he put his hands up in the air. But now it's second and goal from the 12. So strong stance there by the Cougar defense. Looking to see if Hammond's back in.
So Batavia now in a pistol formation, 2 running backs in the backfield. Low snap, Buchholz picks up, fires, and that's going to be Fortes, who's immediately dropped by number 2, Landon Hammond.
Absolutely, he's back in.
If he was back in, and
yeah,
yes, sir.
That's a strong answer to that question. And what a fantastic break on the ball, and we've seen how tough Fortes is to tackle. A great tackle around the midsection. Landon Hammond is fired up. And Fortes, as we've seen, is not an easy player to tackle.
And as we approach the 5-minute mark of the second quarter, I mean, this is just an HFL Batavia battle. I'd love to see it.
It's what we wanted, right? And after the first play, we weren't sure what we were going to get, but so far, so good.
Third and goal for Batavia from their 11-yard line. Buchholz from the gun. Collects the snap. Looking left side. Launches it up. Corner of the end zone, and he's got his man. Number 6 for the Blue Devils. That's Cole Grasnio playing.
Yeah, and those two have that connection. We talked about it. It was the pass to Grasnio playing. You got Batavia down to the 1-yard line, and just a great route there. He was able to cut to the middle, break it off, and running towards the pylon. Had a step on the defender, and a nicely thrown ball by Buchholz.
Outside leverage on Connor Finn results in Batavia retaking the lead here. 5:10 to go in the second quarter. Point after attempt. Snap, hold, kick is up, and it's good. Batavia 14, HFL 7. As we've got a good battle here in the village of Honeoye Falls between 2 Class B rivals.
And that was just a great job by Batavia. I do think they benefited from that personal foul call. HFL made a strong stand, but you see the patience of Buchholz, lofts that ball. Grasnio playing one of the best route runners in Class B and one of the most noteworthy receivers in Section 5. Ran the route, got open, and that's what you expect your playmakers to do.
This kickoff brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. Alexander Enterprises specialize in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give them a call before you start your next project at 624-9120.
So now it's response time for the Cougars. 5:10 left, half the quarter.
Both teams all still with 3 timeouts, so.
And interestingly, HFL's last drive, a lot of the success was set up by their ability to run the ball. So it'll be interesting to see how they come out of this huddle right now with anything goes. And I think that making Batavia honestly play the run will benefit the passing game a great deal.
So just a quick recap, it was Batavia striking first, the long run touchdown by Fortes, and then it was the Cougars eventually scoring in the second quarter, Matt Meacham to Andrew Wazenreed, and then we just saw Buchholz finding Grasnio playing to give Batavia a 7-point lead again.
Yeah, our players to watch have certainly been players to watch tonight.
Here's the kickoff end over end, and a little trickeration as Connor Finn winds up with it, and he's going to get near the 25-yard line, about the 24-yard line of HFL, and that's where Matt Meacham and this Cougar offense will set up.
But you could just tell by the body language of the Cougars right now that they know that they're in the game and they're enthusiastic. The shoulders are there, the body language is good, and they want to come out and just answer what Batavia just did.
First and 10, HFL. Patrick Donahoe, the back in the backfield, the up back, Ben Cook. Here's the handoff to Donahoe, and he's going to be dropped in the backfield. First player there for Batavia was number 9.
Bronx Buchholz. Quarterback defensive end, Peter. And he did a good job shaking that blocker. Good sign, though, Ben Cook had come out of the game on the defensive side, back in on offense. So even though a couple of the Cougars have been dinged up tonight, they're back in the game, and that's a positive.
Clock running, approaching 4.5 minutes in the first half. Cougars were able to get back to the line of scrimmage, so it'll be 2nd and 10. Meacham to throw, and he's got number 8. That's Alex Steinhoff, who's going to be tackled hard up near the 44-yard line, but that's a first down for HFL. Brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Treat yourself tomorrow and every Saturday with a slow roasted prime rib dinner and all the fixins from HFMP for only $18.99 each.
Nice slant route there by Steinhoff. Had some space off the line, able to cut in. Nice connection with Meacham. Cougars move the chains.
Clock now at 4. 1st and 10. HFL. Handoff. Donahoe kicks out to the right side, but he's going to be met in the backfield.
Makai Fortes from his outside linebacker position reads that play extremely well. Able to go around the block attempt by Cook and stop Donahoe in the backfield. Boy, we're calling 9 and 10 a lot for Batavia, aren't we?
Yes, we are. 2nd and 13 for HFL. Clock now approaching 3 minutes left in the second quarter. Cougars now with 4 receivers set. Meacham to pass. Loads one up. Looking deep. And that is incomplete. Looking in the direction of Andrew Wazenreed. Going to be probably tough to catch that one with his feet in bounds. That one was just drifting a little bit.
And double coverage, too, by the Blue Devils. Carter Mullen back in coverage along with Devon Gallo-Williams, number 3. But I think to keep the defense honest, you have to take a shot every once in a while. Wazenreed, there wasn't a lot of room on the sideline, but if anybody can come up with a low probability catch, it's Andrew.
So 3rd and 13, Batavia defense has a chance to force the Cougars to punt as we close out this second quarter. Here's Meacham to throw. Lofts it up. He's got a man. That's Landon Hammond down the near sideline. He's at the 20. Works his way back in. And we've got a late flag in the neighborhood of a face mask. So Cougars at the 15-yard line after the big pitch and catch here from Matt Meacham to Landon Hammond. That's a first down, brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. True blue local for 40 years.
Yeah, Hammond got lost in the coverage. The Cougars had trips to this side of the field. Call on the tackle there. It's going to be 1st and goal for the Cougars from inside the 7.
And that penalty was on number 10, Fortes. We've been calling his name a lot tonight, but that's a reason he does not want his name mentioned. As you mentioned, this will set the Cougars up at the 10-yard line. So 1st and goal for HFL. 2:45 in the second quarter. 2 running back set for HFL. Snap. Handoff. Connor Finn shifts. And he's going to be tackled inside the 2-yard line. Nice run there by Connor Finn for the Cougars.
Yeah, new backfield. It was Finn and Hool. Good push by the Cougars. Nice cutback at the 5 by Finn. He actually eludes Fortes. And Cougars are cooking. It's, second? It's a first down?
Should be second and
goal from about the second and
goal from the 2 or 3 yard line. Tough to tell from the angle, but
that the offensive rhythm, HFL's been able to maintain that.
2nd and goal. Meacham from the backfield. 2 running back set. Hands off Hool. Hool's trying to power into the end zone, getting some push from his teammates. It's a rugby scrum. No call yet, no signal.
I don't think they're going to give it to him. I think the Batavia defense got that pushback at the line, but fantastic effort from both sides. Hool follows the block of Finn. Hole filled pretty quickly. It's Maggio Buchholz and a host of others.
Matt Meacham in on the play there. Quarterback for the Cougars trying to push the pile. Cougars are comfortable letting the clock run here.
Yeah, literally inches away. Ben Cook back in.
We'll see if the high school football rarely goes under center. They're inches away, as you said, but they're lined up in shotgun, so they got to get 5 yards just to get a yard. Here's the handoff, and that's a touchdown. It is. That's Connor Finn finding the Meehan Architecture end zone, and the Cougars are an extra point away from tying it here with 59 seconds to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, a big cut block there by, I believe it was Austin Krigo. He took out the whole side of the Batavia defensive line, gave Finn just enough space to sneak in. Touchdown here, and as you said, with 59 seconds left here in the half, Cougars are a Meacham extra point away from tying this game.
So on the on-time down, snap, hold, kick, and we're all square here at James Dollard Athletic Stadium. What has been a very exciting first half of play.
And a superior response by the Cougars. They were able to mix and match down the field. Big third down catch by Landon Hammond got them into the red zone. And then that run game, 3 runs from the 10, able to tie this game. But that block by Krigo, he really just went low and was able to take out that side of the defensive line. And as we mentioned, both teams that have been really battling at the point of attack. I wouldn't say anybody has the upper hand. I say it's as even as the scoreboard. Those linemen on both sides are doing their job.
So one last look. If Steve could tell us straight, he'd be circling Austin Krigo there. Kickoff here brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. Alexander Enterprises specialize in home remodeling, renovations, additions, bathrooms, kitchens, decks, painting. Give them a call before you start your next project at 624-9120.
So 1 minute left in the half. It'll be interesting. I think the field position here will determine how Batavia attacks this final minute of play.
Deep kick.
Grazio playing.
And he's going to be escorted out of bounds at the 25-yard line. So to pick up what you were saying, Steve, both teams with 3 timeouts. HFL kicked off, so it'll be Batavia kicking off in the second half. Batavia 50 seconds, 3 timeouts.
Neither team has turned the ball over. They both played a clean game to this point. I think given the big play ability of Fortes, you might run the same play you ran on the first play of the game and see how well HFL defends it and take your cues from there.
So we have a stoppage. T is still on the field. I thought maybe head coach John Russ wanted to see what formation they came out with, called one of his timeouts. But official timeout for a T left on the turf. So here's the handoff. And it's a immediate tackle on Fortes.
Cooper Levine 3 or 4 times has had great pressure into the backfield. Aaron Fasik's at the bottom of that pile. They both had a really strong second quarter here for the Cougars, and there we get our timeout. I think that's a call by Coach Russ, right, to make give the defense a chance and to force the punt and maybe make something happen on defense or special teams.
They're going to say it's a Batavia timeout, which is sponsored by Main Street Cafe. Main Street Cafe is your hometown cafe with a location in both the village of Honeoye Falls and the hamlet of Mendon, with a wide-ranging menu including breakfast sandwiches, paninis, wraps, salads, shakes, fresh fruit smoothies. There's sure to be something for everyone. Be sure to ask about their catering services and how they can help create a unique menu for your next special event. Main Street Cafe prides itself on their fresh, made-to-order food and daily specials. So 42 seconds. Batavia, as we mentioned, takes their first time out of the half. They managed to get about 2 yards there on that first down run.
Yeah, I thought that the timeout would come from the defensive side rather than the offense, unless maybe Batavia has something that cooked up. You go into halftime tied. I think that's good for both sides. It's been such a battle.
2nd and 8. 2 receivers set for Batavia. Pass play. Buchholz loading it up. Got a man. That's caught. Immediately met by Hammond. And that was number 1. Carter Mullen he found himself quite open deep into HFL secondary.
Yeah, and he came off that route. He almost lulled the Cougars to sleep. Hammond with another big tackle to stop the yardage, but that's about a 32-yard gain. And now that timeout for Batavia looks like it's pretty wise. Gives them a chance to be even more aggressive here.
Batavia timeout brought to you by Main Street Cafe, your hometown cafe with a location in both the village of Honeoye Falls and the hamlet of Mendon, with a wide-ranging menu including breakfast sandwiches, paninis, wraps, salads, milkshakes, and fresh fruit smoothies. There's sure to be something for everyone. Be sure to ask about their catering services and how they can help create a unique menu for your next special event. Main Street Cafe prides itself on their fresh, made-to-order food and daily specials.
So the game Landon Hammond is having is pretty impressive, Peter. He had the big catch on offense, a couple big plays here on defense, and you're looking for the Cougars to have players step up, and the senior captain that is doing that tonight.
So Batavia with 1 timeout left. They're at the HFL 43-yard line, so they can still have a bit of flexibility in play call. Ideally, they want to try and work the sideline. Crowd getting into it here at HFL. Trips to the far side. Snap. Buchholz to throw. Rolls out to his left. Waiting. Lofts one up. Caught. Waiting on the signal, and that's a catch.
Mullen again with a nice tap dance on the sideline. Buchholz does a nice job of buying time. Mullen also kind of looks to go deep on his quarterback, then stops. It's a little back shoulder throw. Iacobucci's right there to knock him out of bounds. 25 seconds to go. Batavia has a first down at the 30.
2 feet in bounds. New set of downs. Batavia, 1st and 10.
Just a really well-executed play by the offense, though.
Ball at the 29, 25 seconds. Blue Devils still have 1 timeout. Trips to the near side. Buchholz to throw. Looks, steps up. Looking downfield, trying to find somebody. Lofts it up towards the end zone, and it's caught. No! It's incomplete. In and out of the hands of Cole Grazio playing. I thought he had it.
I thought he had it too, but great effort by the HFL defensive back, and it might be Yates there that knocks it away. We will see as this play unfolds. Buchholz buys time, lofts it up. No, it's Landon Hammond again. Gets those hands in there and pulls it out. Wow.
What an incredible individual effort to keep this one tied.
And Batavia has been the beneficiary of some bounces on plays like that. This time, that's the last play of the Section 5 championship game was a tip ball. There the ball is pulled out and falls to the ground.
15 seconds, 2nd and 10. Buchholz from the gun. Has to make the first sack miss. He's going to end up becoming a runner here.
The flag is down too, so this play is probably going to come back.
Clock stops with 6 seconds.
Looks like
holding.
Ben Cook was getting good pressure. Flag comes down. Buchholz does a nice job extending the play, just unable to get away from Fasek. Fasek's had a great first half too. And so it's going to be 6 seconds left, and it's going to be second and pretty long, I believe, for the Blue Devils.
Now, did Batavia
take the timeout? I think so. They're all huddled around Coach Veltz.
I think they had to, or else the play would have resumed after they marked off.
Right, because it was a run play. Time would have run out. So really, we're at probably, for all intents and purposes, at the last play of the half on about a 2nd and 29.
This timeout brought to you by Main Street Cafe. Main Street Cafe is your hometown
19,
cafe.
19.
With a location in both the village of Honeoye Falls and the hamlet of Mendon, with a wide-ranging menu including breakfast sandwiches, paninis, wraps, salads, milkshakes, and fresh fruit smoothies. There's sure to be something for everyone. Be sure to ask about their catering services and how they can help create a unique menu for your next special event. Main Street Cafe prides itself on their fresh, made-to-order food and daily specials.
So one of the changes we've seen HFL make is made it go to more man coverage with the pass after the big run. But now on a 2nd and 20 like this, does Coach Russ switch to play more of his own? He's even got Matt Meacham playing safety. So I think this is more don't let anybody catch the ball behind you.
Correct. This should be a prevent defense with 6 seconds to go, no timeouts. Likely going to be the last play of the half, unless we have an untimed down for the time it takes for the Batavia players to get downfield. Buchholz is going to have to work himself.
Good pressure by Cook.
And he's going to go down. They blow the whistle. Buchholz arguing that he wasn't down, and that's going to be the last play of the half.
Wow, what an answer from HFL from the second play of the game on. Ben Cook comes from the far side, beats the tackle, beats a second block attempt, and is able to bring Buchholz down. This HFL defense, Peter, we can't say enough about the effort they've had after that first play from scrimmage.
So we're all square, 14-14 at halftime. We'll take a quick commercial timeout.
Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Fresh breads, donuts, special cakes made every day from scratch. Our butcher still cuts your meats to order. Doesn't get any better than that. Hot pizza, fish fries on Friday. Order your favorite sub right here. Organic foods and healthy choices. Honeoye Falls Marketplace. We're true blue local. Uncompromised quality close to home.
Tonight's game also brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. For nearly 30 years, Alexander Enterprises has been one of Rochester's most trusted contractors. They specialize in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give Todd and the folks at Alexander Enterprises a call before you start your next project at 624-9120. Main Street Cafe, your hometown cafe, with a location in both the village of Honeoye Falls and the hamlet of Mendon. With a wide-ranging menu including breakfast sandwiches, paninis, wraps, salads, milkshakes, and fresh fruit smoothies, there's sure to be something for everyone. Be sure to ask about their catering services and how they can help make a unique menu for your next special event. Main Street Cafe prides itself on their fresh, made-to-order food and daily specials. Bullfinch Fund. Fans who are sitting on IRA money that they don't know what to do with, or those who want to take control of 401k money left at an old employer, should give Bullfinch a call at 624-3150. Did you know a working teenager can become a retirement millionaire just by starting a child IRA? Want to learn more? Call your local mutual fund, the Bullfinch Fund, at 624-3150. Bullfinch Fund, invest right here. And Meehan Architecture, with the Meehan Architecture Sports Update, boys soccer had a 4-1 victory over Greece Olympia last night. Zolo was involved in all 4 goals with 1 goal and 3 assists. The other goals scored by Odell, Pritchard, and Gathercole. Ferraro with 5 saves. The HFL boys team now sits at 4-1. Girls tennis had a 5-2 victory over Webster Schrader yesterday afternoon. They host Irondequoit next Tuesday. And last sponsor for tonight, Four Corners Eye Care and Optical. Now celebrating 30 years, Four Corners Eye Care and Optical provides full scope vision and medical eye care, as well as quality optical services in the convenient location of the Four Corners of Honeoye Falls. Dr. Kissick and his staff are proud to call HFL home all these years. Hundreds of local residents, including myself, are proud to call Dr. Kissick their optometrist. Give Dr. Kissick a call at Four Corners Eye Care and Optical at 624-2122. And the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel, tonight's presenting sponsor, your local hometown community newspaper since 1989. For local news, you can visit their website, mhflsentinel.com, and follow along on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, now currently rebranded as X. So we're going to take a break here. Halftime HFL, as we mentioned, all square at 14 apiece. Youth night here in Honeoye Falls. We'll have some first half highlights, and we'll break down those and talk about what to expect here in the second half of play. You're watching Section 5 Class B football live on the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. Back live here at Honeoye Falls-Lima. You're looking live at James Dollard Athletic Stadium. Just over 4 minutes left in this halftime period. We'll roll that first half highlight reel, Oliver.
So Batavia gets the opening kickoff. First play from scrimmage. Makai Fortes, 81 yards off the left side of the line, and he is gone. Connor Finn makes an effort, a diving effort at the 20-yard line, but Batavia, first play from scrimmage, up 7-0.
So after the only touchdown in the first quarter, it was the Cougars striking with 11:52 left in the second quarter. It was Matt Meacham finding Andrew Wazenreed in his first game in the 2023 season.
And just like HFL with their top combination, Batavia goes to its favorite combination, Bronx Buchholz, Cole Grazio playing 11 yards out. Devils take the lead 14-7 with 5:10 to go in the half.
And with 5:59 seconds left, it's Connor Finn for the Cougars finding the Meehan Architecture end zone. With the PAT, we were all square at 14. Tie ball game between the Batavia Blue Devils and the HFL Cougars. Now, Steve, coming into this one, we didn't know what to expect. You had an undefeated 2-0 Batavia team that had played some good competition, and you had a winless HFL team. They went down to Binghamton to play Waverly, good team from downstate, and then hosted an electric Monroe offense a week ago who put up over 50 points. Tie ball game now.
Yeah, this is what we signed up for, and full credit to the Cougars. It had to be tough to give up that big play on the first play from scrimmage, and then the defense just responded. Batavia had an opportunity to maybe go up by 2 scores. They were able to get that stop. It kind of served as a springboard for the offense. The return of Andrew Wazenreed for the offense. Matt Meacham has his favorite receiver back. They connect for a touchdown. And then even at the end, Peter, going through my head a couple of minutes ago was last year's game in the fourth quarter. Batavia was in the same spot. It was to run out the clock, run out the game, and they were able to connect with Cole Grazio playing for a basic game-clinching touchdown. This time, HFL came up with a sack, sends it to halftime, tied, and Coach Russ has to be ecstatic with the response that his team's put forth so far tonight.
And HFL coming out of the locker room, and they will get the ball to start the second half. Batavia yet to return. It looks like they are exiting the Manor Elementary School here on the campus of the Honeoye Falls-Lima Central School District.
And I would not be surprised, Peter, as we see often, that they'll put 3 minutes on the clock maybe for stretching and warm-up. So we may really be closer to 5 minutes away from the start of the half. And there's only 3 games tonight in Class B. I would say this is the marquee matchup. But there's a team, Geneva. We've talked about them a little bit on last week's broadcast. Off to a 2-0 start, actually outscoring their opponents 8-0 coming into tonight. They're at Dansville, Wayland Cohocton tonight, 8-0 at the half. So Dansville, Wayland Cohocton putting up a good fight there. No report from Virtus at Wayne. And then tomorrow afternoon, Monroe will host Rochester Prep. And looking at the standings, Batavia and Geneva both come in tonight 2-0. Dansville, Wayland Cohocton, Monroe both 1-0. Virtus 1-1. Wayne was 0-1 with a loss to Batavia last week. And HFL and Rochester Prep were 0-2. But this is more the HFL team that we're used to seeing.
And we talked about at the opening and at the end of last week's game, this was going to be what we thought to be a litmus test for both of these teams to see how they stacked up. Batavia will have to play Monroe next week, so we'll see how those two battle it out. But it seems like these teams are neck and neck at halftime here. Obviously a second half to play, but right now on the same level as one another. And I got to think that we'll see Monroe tomorrow afternoon, but probably after tonight, it's going to be Monroe 1, HFL, Batavia, probably
in that 2-3 slot, just in terms of competition. But, I mean, we want to see with Geneva, too. If Geneva's 3-0, they're in that conversation. And I think that's really what how is the Plinko chip going to fall in terms of stacking the teams?
And Wayne, who's always a team that's there to the end. Coach Marine always puts together a good squad.
Yep. And last week, we should mention that Wayne was only 1 score down from Batavia. They were actually ahead of Batavia until the final play of the first half. So Batavia has been a huge second half team this year. We need to watch a big comeback in the opener. pulled away from Wayne. So how does this second half unfold? I think if you're the Cougars, what you want to do is come out and have that nice drive here, take the lead, get your first lead of the season, and make Batavia chase.
So as you mentioned, they threw another 2 minutes up on the scoreboard. Batavia was a little bit later out of the locker room than HFL, so they'll benefit from the extra time.
I think, Peter, for me, the thing about the first half from the HFL side that is most impressive has been the defense and the way that Aaron Fasek has responded, the plays that Landon Hammond has made, Ben Cook getting that good pressure there on the sack to end the half. Those were plays that weren't being made in the first 9 quarters of the season, but they were being made tonight.
And you hear all the time at all levels of football, gap integrity, and that was, I think, something that Coach Russ was talking about, the difficulty of having to reload at the linebacker position. They only had Alex Steinhoff returning as an experienced linebacker. So with 2 new linebackers, Fasek taking on that role that Reese Joint had for 3 years at HFL, making sure that everyone knew their responsibilities, knew which gap they should be covering. Seems like they're getting to a point where they're starting to get comfortable defensively.
Yep. And I mean, comfortable. Batavia's got a lot of playmakers, but just kind of just having a feel for knowing what they're supposed to do. I don't, you know, we saw some of that explosiveness from Fortes a couple of times, and obviously he's a one-play away player from going the distance. But the one thing we haven't seen a lot from Batavia is number 24, who is Zalian Griffin, who he had about 95 yards in last week's game. He had a real strong game last week. Maybe we see more of him in the second half to get that thunder and lightning on the Batavia offense.
Yeah, and I think if I'm Batavia, that's maybe my one thing that I want to try and do in the second half. I want to get more guys involved. I don't want it to just be the number 9 and number 10 show like maybe we saw in the first half. Of course, Cole Grasnia playing, he had a touchdown score, but just taking some of the pressure off those 2 guys. I mean, they're making plays on both sides of the ball.
Right, and Buchholz, we had that key, you know, like all eyes on the Bronx. They've done a pretty nice job on containing him as a runner. He's made some nice plays as a passer, but he hasn't hurt them other than on one or two occasions as a runner.
And it seemed like towards that last possession of Batavia, offensively, it was the Cougar defense that was starting to maybe establish a little bit of strength at the trench position.
Getting that push, they drew a couple of holding penalties that were big. I mean, I think maybe aside from, you know, giving up a touchdown on the first play, the only other thing that if the Cougars are unhappy with is that penalty pre-snap on 4th and 1 that forced the punt and took away an opportunity for the offense earlier in the game. Other than that, you've got to be really happy with where you are right now.
I think the other thing that might be sticking out in the HFL minds is that personal foul call. Now, I'm okay with that call being personal foul. If that was defensive pass interference, then, you know, obviously the refs get to see everything once in real time.
Right.
So it's hard to throw penalties, but definitely makes more sense as a
unnecessary roughness or whatever.
Okay,
there was contact after the whistle. And, you know, Batavia was able to score a touchdown on that, but then HFL had the response, and that's what I think the coaches were really looking for, to get the ball back with 5 minutes and 10 seconds. Basically, it was a 4-minute offense. Got down and then were able to hold off Batavia. Batavia made a nice long pass to Mullen to give themselves a chance to be aggressive on offense, and the defense stood tall and made the plays.
So as we mentioned, it's going to be the Blue Devils kicking off to the Cougars to start the second half of play. Both teams trying to get and stay loose coming out of the halftime break.
Yeah, still waiting for the network TV timeout, we'll call it. And I wonder how much that, too, sometimes impacts the flow of the game with the longer timeouts. And does it benefit anyone? Does it hurt anyone? Or is it just something that happens?
I was thinking about that when we started the game because the 2 teams came out. Batavia had to wait a lot longer than HFL did. And I was wondering, like, here you come out, you run out. Like, how do you manage those emotions? It's like you're ready to go, and here you're waiting around, and you're not used to that. We'll have a kickoff here brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. Alexander Enterprises specializes in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give them a call before you start your next project at 624-9120. And away we go here in the second half of play. Cougars with it. This is Patrick Donahoe. Spin move up past the 30 and tackled at about the 35-yard line.
Nice energetic return there by Patrick Donahoe. Is able to corral the ball about the 15-yard line. Settles, waits for some holes to open, cuts it back at the 25, breaks some tackles, spins, and he's at the 35. That's a great drive start for HFL. And if we're looking for somebody maybe to be an X factor in the second half for the Cougars that we haven't seen as much, maybe it's Patrick Donahoe, number 33.
So Cougars come out, 4 receiver set. It's Ben Cook who will get the rep at running back pass play. Meacham, far side, that's Landon Hammond, gain of about 6 yards.
And we had a nice chance to talk to the captains before the season, and Matt Meacham was talking about his receivers, and he and Landon Hammond have been friends for a long time. He even compared him to Julian Edelman a little bit in the preseason, and you see that they connected on that third down for a long play, and then right there he comes back to him. And I think with Wanzenreed back, we've seen the other receivers have opportunities with big plays from Steinhoff and Hammond already tonight.
So 2nd and 4. Here's the ball handed off on a jet sweep to Hammond to the near sideline, and he's going to be tackled at midfield. That's a first down for HFL, brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Make every day just a little bit more special with the Stonewall collection of brands available at HFMP.
Nice block there by Ben Cook in the middle of the field on the linebacker to give Hammond a little extra time and space. And I think we're starting to see with the HFL offense, too, that run-pass balance that it's been so effective over the years. And that might be keeping Batavia off balance a little bit. The effectiveness of the running game has opened up passing opportunities.
So after the jet sweep picks up the first down, here's 1st and 10. Ball at the HFL side of midfield. And Meacham able to avoid the rusher, looking downfield, and he'll just throw this one harmlessly out of bounds.
Smart play there by Meacham. A lot of pressure off of the edge from number 21 for Batavia. Nathaniel Heisinger comes off unblocked. Nice job by Meacham to step away from it. Heads toward the sideline, tried to extend the play. Throws it out of bounds. No harm done.
2nd and 10 now for HFL after the incomplete pass.
Looks like maybe a player was shaken up for Batavia, and they're making a change on the defense. Is that maybe Grayson Fix, number 5, coming out?
Looks like he's checking out for Batavia as Cougars elect to throw the ball. And in and out of the hands, he was looking for Wanzenreed there. Deep ball there by Meacham.
And that's a near miss. That Cougars took a shot. We were wondering about Wanzenreed's ability to get past the defense. And real close there, just missed, but we just saw the substitution in with Fix, who's been the starter all season, coming out of the game for the injury. And HFL won right after the new corner, number 3, Devon Gallo-Williams. Dan Hoyt doesn't miss a trick, does he?
3rd and long for the Cougars.
Now we've got the Graz and Waz matchup that we thought here on the near side with Cole Grazia playing lined up straight across from Andrew Wanzenreed.
Pre-snap motion. Pass play for the Cougars. Meacham surveys. Incomplete pass. There was a couple players in the area. It was number 9, Keaton Yates for HFL, who could maybe try and get his hands on it.
Batavia defense answers the call there. Mullen on the coverage and a big hit from the safety coming up. That's number 80.
And I wonder,
Justin Smith.
It looked like Steinhoff was running a post pattern and Yates was running a post pattern, and they ended up kind of running their defenders right near to where Meacham would have had to put the ball to throw to either of them. In any case, Batavia able to hold off HFL, and here they'll punt here on their first offensive possession of the second half.
Meacham's been really effective in the punt game tonight, and he's going to get another nice roll here.
So HFL acting like a Batavia player had touched it. Could have gotten maybe a couple more yards there.
Yeah, that was Hammond. Let's see why maybe he was thinking that way.
Take another look. The ball took a bounce.
Number 11 is right there, or 21. You know, not a bad play. I mean, there has not been a turnover yet tonight, so that'll be another key here in the second half. Does one of the teams make a mistake or force a mistake, and how will that impact the outcome here?
Sometimes they're just not giving away, so you got to try and manufacture one.
Absolutely.
So Batavia will have their first offensive possession of the second half as both teams return back to the sideline. I believe we have a TV timeout for the change of possession. So like we were talking right before the start of the second half, how the teams are ready to get going, and this is another example where both teams were lining up, coming out in the field, and then all of a sudden they get sent back to their respective sidelines.
Yep, the green light is on the scissors now, so I think they're going to be bringing back for play right away. But that's something to get used to. It's a real thrill to have the Friday night rivals come to town. Usually, that if you're fortunate, you get that once a year, and big thrill. You know, when the big city team, the big city media comes down here to Honeoye Falls.
Yep, Class B football in Section 5, not always at the forefront.
And I think maybe another thing that may have impacted that with the rivalry was a lot of games were played last night in the larger classes.
So 1st and 10, Batavia inside their own 20. Here's Buchholz. He'll hand off to Fortes, and Fortes powers ahead up past the 25-yard line. Pickup of about 6 or 7 there on first down.
Yeah, that looks just really similar to the first play of the game. They just ran it to the other side of the field, and I think we need to give Keaton Yates a shout out. He didn't start the game, came in when Meisenthal went down, and he's had a strong accounting for himself so far tonight. He's matched up with Mullen here on the near side right now.
Batavia with 2nd and 3. Buchholz hands off again to Fortes. Fortes up past the 30. He'll have the first down. So Fortes moves the chains for Batavia on their first offensive possession in the second half.
We wonder here, too, if maybe Batavia will try and grind it out a little bit, keep the HFL defense on the field. As you mentioned toward the end of the first half, the HFL linemen were starting to get a little bit more push than they had earlier in the game.
Nothing frustrates a defense more than a long, methodical drive. 1st and 10. Buchholz from the gun. Hands off Fortes. Fortes going to be swallowed up for a minimal gain. About a yard there.
Owen Englert, 51, sheds his block. He's right there at the bottom of the pile. He's got help from 2 or 3 friends there. Austin Kriego, we see 52 at the bottom of the pile. So those defensive tackles doing their job.
So they're going to say no gain on the play. 2nd and 10 instead of 2nd and 9 for Batavia.
So Grazio playing here to the near side of the field, matched up with Yates.
Pass play. Buchholz over the middle and incomplete. It was Paul Iacobucci in coverage on Carter Mullen.
Mullen's been behind the defense a couple of times, had that play near the end of the first half. Maybe Buchholz got hit a little bit as he released that ball. It hung up. Mullen made a nice adjustment on the ball. Iacobucci did a nice adjustment too, making sure he couldn't make the juggle and catch.
And that ball held up there for a while, and you get worried as a defender there when you see the receiver start to go for the catch and you've got your back to the football. Sometimes you get yourself in a dangerous position for a defensive pass interference. No flag there. 3rd down, power sweep, right side. It's going to be a pass play. Here's Fortes loading it up, and incomplete.
And
there's the flag. Yeah, it looked like Iacobucci got a hand in there before the ball got there. Take another look.
Yeah, Fortes takes a little bit of that extra half second to get set. Yeah, I think that you look for the turn there and the shoulder turn by Grazio planning to look for the ball. I think that flag was a pretty easy call for the officials.
So pass interference against HFL will give Batavia a new set of downs.
15 yards, they'll bring it up, so it'll be about the 45-yard line where they'll take the snap.
Not a spot fall at the high school level, as you mentioned, Steve. They'll mark off the yardage.
I've got that as the third penalty on HFL tonight, 3 for 25 yards.
5-yard penalty.
Ooh.
Not 15. But automatic first down. So Batavia trying to get out of their own territory. Screenplay to Mullen, and he's dropped after a gain of about 3 yards.
Boy, the more these teams line up and play, the more similar they look, don't they? They run some similar things on offense, and when they're doing things correctly, they're not quite mirror images, but there's a lot of similarities.
And when Batavia was coached by Brennan Briggs, he was somebody that was pretty close with head coach John Russ of HFL. They would be constantly communicating throughout the season, talking to each other. Not sure what head coach John Russ' relationship is with Alex Veltz, but we have a pre-snap penalty as
Austin Creco's pretty excited about that.
So that'll move Batavia back 5 yards.
Yeah, I don't think that Coach Veltz and Coach Russ have the extended relationship that Coach Briggs and Coach Russ did, but I do think they do know each other. They text sometimes. They've socialized a couple times, so maybe that's a relationship that'll grow over the years.
And obviously when you're coaching high school football in the same classification, you go to the same sort of off-season camps and workouts. You work with each other's players at some of these 7-on-7 drills, as we have a pass play by Buchholz. Toss it up, and that's intercepted. Connor Finn going the other way. Finn is going to be hit hard at the HFL 40-yard line, and he looked like he was in some pain.
He did, and that ball was overthrown, and I think that was Fortes that ended up making the tackle on Finn over near the sideline.
Take another look. Ball just sailed a little bit on Buchholz, and Finn able to get the team's either team's first turnover of tonight's game. 7:31 left in the third quarter.
Facek called for the trainer, but I think Finn's up and he's to the sideline, right? He's being looked at. He's on the sideline right in front of us, and we see Meisenthal also. Mike Meisenthal was hurt in the first half. He's in street clothes and on crutches. So his night for HFL is over.
1st and 10. Hammond in motion. Hand off to Donahoe. Donahoe straight ahead. They're going to say he got back to the line of scrimmage, nothing more.
We saw the jet sweep be effective in the first half. There's a counter to it, looking to trap a little bit with Hammond, but a nice job by Calderon 52 to bring him down after a short gain. So there's the turnover, first one of the night. We'll see if the Cougars are able to capitalize.
Yeah, Buchholz only had one interception coming in tonight, and it was a pick six a week ago against the Wayne Eagles.
A screen pass that went wrong.
And some more pre-snap motion. Screen play to Donahoe. Donahoe having to work back, and he's going to be dropped. A good play there by number 21, Nathan Heisinger, for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, very good read there. You see the pressure coming from Batavia. Screen setups pretty nicely, but both 21 Heisinger and 22 Joseph Marenko were able to break through the blockers and keep it to minimal.
And
Actually,
Marenko gets credit there for forcing Donahoe back inside and letting his teammate Heisinger make the tackle. So 3rd and 10 now for the Cougars after the interception. Meacham to throw. Looks, surveying the field. Rolls out to his right. Still running. Throws it late. And it's going to be incomplete. There wasn't a whole lot of receivers on the near sideline here. Nobody came back to him.
Yeah, that's a tough angle for us here because it's tight here on the near sideline. Matt tries to squeeze that one in there, and it just doesn't connect. It looked like the Cougar sideline was asking for it, but it wasn't there. So
would have been short of the first down marker.
And this game after is really starting to turn into a field position game at this point, Peter. No, a second big stop for Batavia here in the second half, and now HFL is going to look to win that field position battle, and and turn the Blue Devils over again and get the ball back.
Meacham to punt. End over end kick. Bounces in favor of Batavia. HFL jumps on it. Blue Devils will start at about the 31-yard line.
Yeah, 31-yard line. Second possession of the second half here for Batavia. And Blue Devils haven't had that great rhythm the last couple series, and I think that's more a tribute to what the HFL defense has been able to do to disrupt that. And HFL's got to just look to continue to do that. And it's really about all 11 guys just doing their job. They don't need anybody to be a superhero.
So both times Batavia has started with the ball, it goes to a television timeout. So they get a couple extra seconds here to talk things over. They were running Fortes heavy on that first possession of the second half. We'll see if they continue doing that. Obviously, it ended with the interception from Buchholz to Connor Finn. See how he responds after his second interception of the season.
Batavia did take a couple shots down that far right sideline, though. I wonder if that's something that they're going to continue to try to do.
And it seems like the Cougars have been able to contain Buchholz so far. So, been forcing him to make plays with his arm or handing off to Fortes. We'll see if Batavia can maybe try and find a way to get him more involved in the rushing game, get a little bit more creative. It's a third game of the season. At this point, you wonder how much of the playbook's installed for either of these two offenses. As Buchholz will hand off to Fortes, and he's going to be tackled by 51. That's Owen Englert for the Cougars.
And that Cougar defensive front is continuing to get a push. And earlier in the game, Batavia had a little more time and a little more space on those plays. The last 2.5 quarters, that hasn't been there. Another good job to start the drive. You know, Kriego is in the middle there, 52, 51, as you mentioned, Owen Englert. Ben Cooks had a good game on the defensive line. And Cooper Levine, too. He hasn't been there much in the third quarter. End of the second half, he was really dominant.
So here's a swing play, ball on the turf. Going to be covered up there by Fortes. So Batavia, another dangerous play there. Fortunate to cover up. Going to be a loss of 4 yards.
3rd and 14. And really fortunate for Batavia that they were able to haul that ball back in. The pitch got away from Fortes. I think he may have been looking upfield trying to make a play. The Cougar defense was right on top, but he did recover the ball, give his team another chance.
And there was a pair of Cougars in the area, so even if he was able to reel in that pitch, he would have been dropped most likely shortly thereafter. So 3rd and 14, crowd trying to make some noise for the home Cougars. Snap, Buchholz, quarterback draw play. He's up past the 30 and shoestring tackle.
Keaton Yates, nice play. He's come in tonight and done a really nice job, makes a nice read there, goes low, gets the arm around the ankle, brings down the ball carrier.
We have an official timeout for a injured player on the near sideline. I believe it's a Batavia Blue Devil. Keaton Yates, younger brother
of Nolan Yates.
Of Nolan Yates, and I believe you had a nickname for his older brother, and it was
Big Play.
Big Play Nolan Yates. And Keaton thrust into action here tonight after a couple injuries to the HFL secondary, and completely off our radar coming in tonight, and has made a couple of good key plays here.
And that nickname is definitely appropriate tonight. Maybe, they keep it in the family.
So as they continue to assess the injury, both teams at their respective sidelines.
And maybe Bronx Buchholz, who's down. It is, and he's up. He's being helped up. Walking under his own power, that's a good sign. He's been involved in so many plays tonight. You hope that nothing serious.
Yeah, the tackle was low around the feet, so you hold your breath sometimes.
Absolutely.
So 4th and 6.
And Coach Veltz was just so complimentary of Bronx and his work ethic. He's one of the team's hardest workers. It's just a junior. He's a captain. He's come in and he's earned that. And you just hope that he's able to come back tonight and continue to play.
So here's a punt by the Blue Devils. And it's a fake. It's a fake punt. He's going to have to make at least 1 or 2 men miss, and he does, and he's got the first down. That's number 14, Jamison Motika, with the fake punt.
And I don't know if that was planned, Peter, if that was just a reaction to the pressure that HFL had on, and Motika really did a great job adjusting to the pressure on that play and getting the first down.
And if you watch these two teams play, that sort of play maybe reminds you of that 2021 Section 5 Class B championship where Batavia had a broken punt play and
resulted in the winning touchdown.
Exactly.
And Buchholz is back in, so that's a good sign.
So 1st and 10, and there's number 24, Zaylen Griffin, getting some snaps here.
There's also number 55, Aaron Fasek, at the bottom of the pile.
So 3.5 to go in the third quarter.
2nd down.
This has really turned into a slugfest, Peter.
Defensive battle. I think we've been playing most of this third quarter between the 30s.
Yeah, exactly.
2nd and 10. Pass play. Buchholz fires. Incomplete. Nolan Yates on coverage on Carter Mullen. And Mullen now slow to get up. HFL players motioning for some training staff. So
a lot of big physical game tonight. A lot of injuries on both sides. Players getting dinged up.
And we were talking about the television timeouts kind of interrupting the flow of the game. Now the injuries and some of these other stoppages have been doing the same.
Yeah, and Mullen has been a big part of Batavia's offense with a couple of good catches. He's walking off under his own power at this point, so hopefully he'll be back too. But a lot of these players too have been on the field a lot, and sometimes the fatigue can come in and the propensity for injury increases.
Heard Batavia talking about some of the conditioning they were doing on Monday during practice. Coach Veltz making sure that they stay conditioned all through the year so that when you get in these close games, by the time the fourth quarter rolls around, everybody can still play.
And he says he runs a physical practice, and that's a delicate balance between that and injuries.
Buchholz to throw, and that's caught, and immediately stepping out of bounds is Cole Grazio playing for Batavia, and that'll result in a first down. So a
key conversion just in the nick of time. Grazio playing nice route, gets both feet in, moves the chain. So Batavia might have something going here. They've been clutch. They had a 4th down conversion off the fake punt. Now a nice pass on 3rd down, and the official was walking through the HFL huddle, but maybe he was just getting his drop corrected about 7 yards. Umpire Billy Bowe.
So the pitch and catch gives Batavia first down on that first down play. It's a handoff to Fortes.
You get the feeling that Batavia's starting to establish a little bit of a rhythm here. They've made those clutch plays to extend the drive. Now a good play on first down to get them 2nd and 5. You might see them dial something up here for Grazio playing, I think.
2nd and medium, you think shot play here?
I think so.
Lulling the Cougar defense maybe a little bit?
Well, just getting the ball in your top playmaker's hands.
And it'll be a handoff to Fortes.
Power run.
3rd and short for the Blue Devils inside HFL territory.
Nice job by Connor Finn just finishing that tackle. And you have to finish on Fortes because he's so physical and can break through.
And on these sort of 3rd and shorts, it becomes imperative on the D line. They want to, rush the quarterback if it's a pass play, and when you got an athlete like Buchholz in the backfield, got to contain, got to. So we have a pass play out towards the sideline and just a little too far. That pass intended for Maggio Buchholz.
Younger brother. Yeah, their dad, Ben, is the special teams coordinator, game night guru. I wonder, he's got to be a Yankee fan, right? Bronx and Maggio are the two sons?
Got to think so.
And Ben actually coached the flag football team at Batavia with Aaron Fix, who's also on Coach Veltz's staff. So the Batavia flag football team went to the sectional finals last year. And Aaron Fix, who's the secondary coach here for Batavia, and Coach Buchholz coached there. So they're two-season football coaches. Big fourth down, though.
4th and 3. Batavia came in converting 80% of their fourth downs before tonight's game. Low snap. Buchholz to pick up. Hit as he threw, and in and out of the hands of number 5.
Grayson Fix, I believe.
Seemed like he had him, too.
Yeah, the play was a little bit off, though, from the low snap. Everything was a little bit rushed. Maybe a play that could have been made, but everything was rushed. The timing was off, and a good stand by the Cougars defense.
So turnover on downs gives HFL offense back the ball. They'll set up shop at about the 38-yard line inside their own territory as we have about a minute, 24 seconds to go in the third quarter of play. We've got bubbles flying here.
Yeah, great crowd, Peter. I took a look at halftime, and there are people all over from the Chow Hut to the student section. Place to be tonight.
Snap, Meacham to throw over the middle. He's got Wazenried, who's got a blocker, and he's going to be cut down inside the 40.
And we'll just watch Wazenried respond to that. He's had the first 2 games with injuries, a low tackle. There's the connection, a big play for the Cougars. Low tackle by Mullen. Wazenried rolls over, and he is coming off the field right now.
So, big pass play, more yards after the catch, and that was something that Wazenried was able to do last season. Under a minute in the third quarter.
And a great drive start for the Cougars too. That we're able to. We've said it's been played between the 30s, but now it's
Donahoe here on the handoff,
almost inside the Batavia 30. So, one of those things that could flip the momentum as we get to 35 seconds. I think the Cougars will probably have to snap it once more here before the end of the third quarter. And good sign, Wazenried's coming back in.
Yeah, it had been number 10, Jack Farabelle, to check in for him. Wazenried only out one play. Under 20 now in the third quarter. HFL can I think they have to run one more play. 2 running back set. Trying to get Batavia to jump.
Maybe they don't, judging by the way the offense is approaching this.
Looked like it was close. No play clock here at Honeoye Falls, but we are still tied after the third quarter. We'll take a quick commercial timeout.
Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Fresh breads, donuts, special cakes made every day from scratch. Our butcher still cuts your meats to order. Doesn't get any better than that. Hot pizza, fish fries on Friday. Order your favorite sub right here. Organic foods and healthy choices. Honeoye Falls Marketplace. We're true blue, local, uncompromised, quality close to home.
Tonight's game also brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. For nearly 30 years, Alexander Enterprises has been one of Rochester's most trusted contractors. They specialize in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give Todd and the folks at Alexander Enterprises a call before you start your next project at 624-9120. Main Street Cafe, your hometown cafe with locations in both the village of Honeoye Falls and the hamlet of Mendon. With a wide-ranging menu including breakfast sandwiches, paninis, wraps, salads, milkshakes, and fresh fruit smoothies, there is sure to be something for everyone. Be sure to ask about their catering services and how they can help create a unique menu for your next special event. Main Street Cafe prides itself on its fresh, made-to-order food and daily specials. Bullfinch Fund, fans who are sitting on IRA money that they don't know what to do with, or want to take control of their 401k money left at an old employer should give Bullfinch a call at 624-3150. Did you know a working teenager can become a retirement millionaire just by starting a child IRA? Want to learn more? Call your local mutual fund, the Bullfinch Fund, at 624-3150. Invest right here. And with the Meehan Architecture Sports Update, girls swimming and diving had a good showing against Penfield last night, but fell by a team score of 97-79. They travel to Irondequoit next Tuesday. So, Steve, no scoring there in that third quarter. Are you surprised?
Not really. These teams, the way the defense has picked it up in the second half, they just went toe-to-toe. Maybe the turnover that HFL got, you thought maybe they'd be able to turn that into something, but both defenses had an answer, and now HFL's in a great position to make a bid to take the lead here, 2nd and 4, coming out of a timeout. Playbook's wide open. We'll see how they line up. But again, I wouldn't be surprised, given the effectiveness of the run game, if they maybe take another look at Wanzen Reeder Steinhoff to make that play to get that touchdown.
I was going to try and pry you to see if you thought maybe offensive coordinator Dan Hoyt would elect to go with a shot here to one of his outside receivers. Cougars do come out with 2 backs, Ben Cook, the up back, near the line of scrimmage, and Donahoe in the backfield behind Meacham. 2nd and 3, handoff to Donahoe. Donahoe shifts ahead, cuts inside the 30. Going to be just short of the line to gain.
And a nice cutback there by Donahoe. And just the fact, Peter, that we can have that conversation, that HFL has those options, shows that where they are, because they've been in pass mode most of the first 2 games. Right here, they're in position where they can make those calls. Obviously, 4-down territory. Want to convert the first down here, keep this drive going.
We got Cougar formation, Wildcat. It's Connor Finn. We saw this earlier. There was a pre-snap penalty, though. Landon Hammond, the man in motion, runs into Finn, and he's going to be tackled for a loss.
It's those 2 linebackers again. It's Nathaniel Heisinger and Joseph Marenko. They didn't fall for the jet sweep action from Hammond. Good pressure by the Batavia defense. Now that 3rd and 1 becomes about a 4th and 3.
HFL keeping the offense on the field. So early here in the 4th quarter, we got a critical 4th down. Cougars are just outside the 30-yard line of Batavia territory. Hammond, the motion man, Meacham to throw, and it's going to be, I believe that was tipped. The motion fooled our cameraman here, but I believe the intention was looking at Ben Cook there in the flat, and disrupted there in the backfield on the throw was Meacham, and
Maggio Buchholz had a lot of pressure there, disrupted the eye candy on that play. I'm sure the Cougars were trying to free somebody up and get a look on the far side, and great job by Batavia. Both teams have answered in these series with 4th down stops.
So with 10:39 to go in the 4th quarter, Batavia now back with the football. Both these teams just trying to find a play here to break free and break this tie. As Makai Fortes dangerously has to reel in that handoff. Mesh point wasn't clean there.
No, it wasn't. That ball popped up. Fortes does a good job just to keep it. And your analysis of this game in the second half being between the 30s, it's exactly what it's been. I think HFL was just inside the 30 for a play or 2 before that, but it's really what it's been, is just this midfield battle.
And I thought this is how we were going to start the game, and then it was going to be more of what we saw a little bit in the first half, where teams were able to move somewhat with ease and score. But really, this second half has been just a defensive showcase. 2nd and 10, Buchholz to throw, lofts one up, and no one's really in the vicinity there. Just had to get it away, pressured in the backfield.
Yeah, again, the pressure from the Cougars disrupts that play. And we've seen that on both sides. Really, when the defense has gotten penetration, it's made things very difficult for both offenses.
So now it's Batavia who's facing 3rd and 10.
A lot of substitutions with this personnel package.
Got to wonder if they're going deep in the bag here. As we got a timeout, it sounds like. Timeout on the field. This one's going to be taken by Batavia, so they're going to think this 3rd and 10 over. This timeout brought to you by Main Street Cafe, your hometown cafe with a location in both the village of Honeoye Falls and the hamlet of Mendon, with a wide-ranging menu including breakfast sandwiches, paninis, wraps, salads, milkshakes, and fresh fruit smoothies. There's sure to be something for everyone. Be sure to ask about their catering services and how they can help create a unique menu for your next special event. Main Street Cafe prides itself on their fresh, made-to-order food and daily specials.
So interesting timeout there. That we saw the personnel grouping switch. It's 3rd and 10, and there's 10 minutes just under left in the game, and so these teams are probably thinking 1 or 2 possessions left in regulation. You've got to cash in on your opportunities. So I would look for Coach Veltz to be dialing up something here that he thinks is one of his favorite plays.
And to use a timeout with more than, just under 10 to go in the 4th quarter, this is going to have to be a good play, you hope, if you're a Batavia fan, to spend a timeout here. I mean, that first half really came down to the clock management of Batavia. And who knows, this 4th quarter might end in a similar fashion.
So we've got Grazio playing to the top of the screen. That's where my eyes are going to gravitate to. Mullen at the bottom of the screen. And it looks like zone coverage for HFL, right?
Cougars showing blitz. Buchholz to throw. Lost one up to Fortes. Fortes up to the 40-yard line. Looking at the spot.
I think
it's
he's
going to
be
be
a
close.
yard short or so. The officials, the linesman foot is on the inside the 40. The stick is on the outside of the 40. It's just about a yard short.
And on the tackle there, number 9, Keaton Yates. 4th and 1 for Batavia. Keeping the offense on the field. Ball at their own 39-yard line.
And that play was well designed. The receiver, Mullen, here was able to clear out the defenders, and they hit Fortes underneath and give Fortes a chance to make a play with his legs. He came awfully close to doing it.
4th and 1. Buchholz from the gun. And looks like we might have a timeout.
They were going hard count with Buchholz, and I think Batavia was looking to draw the penalty. And is it delay? Is it?
Yet to see any sort of.
They're marching them back 5.
Yeah, I think Buchholz pointing out that registered as a
simulation. Simulation of the start of the play.
Well, I think he was just reacting to number 52, Austin Krigo, thinking that he might have jumped, but he didn't move into that neutral zone. It didn't look like. And here's Batavia now in punt formation. They faked it once tonight. Let's see what they do here. And this is a punt, spiraling deep one. And the return man for the
right
Cougars
on the 30.
is going to let that one go. Number 8, Alexander Steinhoff. And I think HFL caught a break there. That just kind of died, like you said, right at the 30. That could have taken a deep roll into
that ends
HFL.
nose down and flips over. They might get an extra 10 yards out of that. But now it's go time, right? 8:27. We've seen the back and forth for the better part of this half, for the first 16 minutes. Now I think is when HFL goes into attack mode a little bit. You've got Matt Meacham's arm, you've got Andrew Wanzer-Reed out there, and you go for the win here. You're 0-2. You roll the dice a little bit and try and stretch it out.
As we have a stoppage.
It's the long timeout in between drives.
TV timeout. So Cougars now will benefit from the additional time in between possessions. If you're Coach Russ or Coach Veltz, you're starting to look at your players and telling them, hey, one of you has got to make a play here. With 8:27 to go in the 4th quarter, one of you has to make this play or a play or the play that's going to set them up to win the football game.
Right, you're looking for a difference maker right now, a game changer. And there are certainly a lot of options, but you need to be careful there that everybody does their job so that you don't. let somebody on the opposing team become the game changer by missing a block or blowing an assignment.
A lot of Metallica here in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, enter Sandman. So they're looking for the closer to come in. Maybe that closer is named Matt Meacham. We shall find out.
1st and 10 for the Cougars. Ball at the 30-yard line. We'll see if Matt Meacham, senior quarterback for HFL, can put together a 70-yard drive right here, give the Cougars the lead, or if the Batavia defense can generate another stop like they've done so far this second half. Here's Meacham firing, incomplete, looking in the direction of Wazenried.
Yeah, a little bit behind, 4 receiver set there for the Cougars. That's kind of a staple play. Basically, both receivers on that side ran a slant, just weren't able to connect.
Meacham's pass a little bit behind Wazenried there. Falls incomplete. 2nd and 10 now for the Cougars.
But I think, this is the point in the game where you put the ball in your leader's hands, your playmakers' hands, and let them go out and do their job.
Cook shifts to Meacham's left. Pass play. Meacham surveys. And that in and out of the hands of Steinhoff.
Yeah, the shallow cross. Steinhoff Hammond went first. Defense converged on him. Steinhoff was there. Didn't have a lot of depth on that route. Probably wasn't a lot there. But now it's 3rd and 10 awfully quickly.
Pretty good coverage there by Batavia. They had looked like pretty much everyone covered. Cook out of the backfield. The receivers downfield. Steinhoff, the check down, just couldn't capture that one. 3rd and 10 now for HFL. Meacham from the gun to throw. Steps up, rolls out to his right. Slings one to the far sideline. And is that caught?
It is. It's Wazenried on the sideline. 1st down, pushed out of bounds by a pair of Batavia defenders. And a nice job here by Meacham, buying himself some time, pushing Wazenried towards the sideline, kind of that sidearm throw across his body, made the play.
We've seen receivers on both sides tonight make some key toe taps for catches, as we have a 1st down brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. Haddock delivered from the Boston Fish Pier every week, making HFMP's Friday Fish Fry with 2 sides and fries all the more delicious.
Great job there by the Cougars getting that 1st down.
As we have another Wildcat formation, this time Finn hands off to Hammond, and he's dropped in the backfield. Number 14 for Batavia.
Jamison Motika.
Had the fake punt earlier, now has a tackle for a loss in the Cougar backfield.
And Batavia has not been surprised at all when the Cougars have gone to Wildcat. Both times they've been able to get a neutral or negative play.
And at some point, you wonder, with that formation, if there's a way that they can pass out of it.
They break out the Cougar play with the Meacham across and throwing deep.
2nd and 15, trips to the far side. Here's the pass play. Meacham looking, fires over the middle, and it's intercepted, going the other way. In and out of the hands of Landon Hammond. We've got a penalty flag. But that's number 5 for Batavia.
Grayson Fix with the pick. Was there early contact? We'll watch the replay here. It's a deflected ball.
Defenseless receiver, you think?
That looked like a football play to me, and Fix is in the right spot to make the tackle.
I don't think the flag was on the tackle. The officials are talking it over. The way this game has been going, you would hate for something to be decided on a call. So they're going to make sure that they're all on the same page, whatever they decide to do.
And judging by the reaction on the HFL, it looks like they have more of the defense out on the field than the offense. So I think indications are that the turnover at this point is going to stand. No, but Austin Kriegel just pointed that the penalty's on Batavia. Now, is it a change of possession or not?
Yeah, if it's on you think, well, let's see what the call is. So we have a personal foul on the defense. And they're going to say that was during the process of the catch. So HFL is going to retain possession. It wipes off the interception. They're going to march off 15 yards.
So that's a huge call.
Now, they
Peter.
didn't say it was an automatic first down, though. He said second down. Is a personal foul not an automatic first down? It's going to give the Cougars well, we got first down showing up on the scoreboard, but the chains are yet to move. The officials are still talking.
I've never recalled a personal foul not being a first down, but let's let this get sorted out. But
yeah, it's very close. The chain gang is asking if there should be moving. Looks like the head official is talking with the Batavia coaching staff, giving them their explanation. Take another look at that play here on replay as things get sorted out. So Meacham throws over the middle.
Is it the late hit on the quarterback possibly? Is it roughing the passer with a personal foul?
But it was thrown by the official right here at the bottom of your screen, like right after the catch.
Okay.
So here's the call again. They're saying personal foul, and it's an automatic first down. So Cougars, the beneficiary of a mistake by the Batavia Blue Devils, sets them up 1st and 10 inside of Batavia territory. Here's the play, and it's Donahoe breaking ahead near the 30-yard line when he's tackled. That's an HFL first down. Start the day off right with IO Orange Juice on sale every Thursday at HFMP. 52-ounce bottle, only $2.99 each.
And obviously that turnover coming off the board is a huge break for the Cougars, a bad break for the Blue Devils. And then Donahoe, who we haven't seen a lot, comes up with a nice run there to keep the chains moving for HFL.
We've got a couple guys shifting around. Currently Connor Finn, Ben Cook in the backfield flanking Meacham's left and right. Pass play. Meacham wants to throw it downfield, and he does, and he's got, I believe that's Andrew Wazenreed who's going to be tackled inside the 15-yard line. So the Cougars back in the red zone, and that's another first down. Brought to you by Honeoye Falls Marketplace. HFMP bakes sub rolls from scratch each day so that every bite of an HFMP submarine sandwich is bursting with flavor.
Ben Cook, a bit of a decoy there. The short pass to Cook has been something the Cougars have done a lot in the first couple of games. By doing that, he froze Fortes for a second, but a super throw by Meacham in between 3 or 4 defenders, and he and Wazenreed are on the same page tonight.
Late substitution there for Batavia, trying to get some fresh bodies in at the defensive line as Connor Finn sachets inside the 10-yard line. Not sure if that was enough for the first down. Looks like he might be just short, so it'll bring up 2nd and short.
But HFL's been able to soften up that defense a little bit. Those pass plays, the Wazenreed do that, and then the run, the blocking's been there, and Dan Hoyt's in a rhythm with the play calls right now.
So just under 6 to go. 2nd and 1. Ball at about the 5-yard line. Here's Meacham from the gun. 2 running backs in the backfield. Collects the snap, looks to throw, and it is caught. Touchdown, Andrew Wazenreed. His 2nd of the night, and the Cougars have their first lead in 2023. And it comes with 5:41 to go in the 4th quarter.
And you talk about Wazenreed, had a little bit of space off the line, runs the slant route, and just makes a fantastic adjustment on the ball, putting his body in between the ball and any defenders, able to catch it, cradle it, and fall into the end zone for the touchdown.
Wazenreed twice from Meacham finds the Meehan Architecture end zone. Here is a large point after attempt for Matt Meacham. The snap is good, the hold, the kick's up, and it's good, and we got a 7-point game in favor of the Cougars. As I mentioned, their first lead of the game as well as this season against arch rival Batavia. And here's another look. What a great adjustment in midair to haul that one in.
Yeah, I mean, if we're being technical, that ball was slightly behind Wazenreed, but that adjustment, he went up and got it. Soft coverage. The mix was there, right? Run, pass. HFL had him off balance, went down the field, and, I think we're going to have to investigate after that game, get a little more explanation on why the turnover was taken away. That penalty call certainly huge right now in extending that drive for HFL, and the Cougars took advantage.
In the first half, it was Batavia that got the personal foul called that set up their touchdown. Now it's HFL. Maybe even a bigger personal foul call because it wiped the turnover off the board, but the Cougars play with the cards they're given and wind up with a score. And coming into this game, head coach John Russ couldn't stress enough the impact that Andrew Wazenried brings to this offense. And it just seems like a different team tonight, his first night back for HFL this season.
Yeah, totally. And I don't think he's 100%, but even Andrew Wazenried at 85% is a game changer. And he's made the other players better and given them opportunities. With the attention on Wazenried, Landon Hammond's made big plays. Steinhoff's made a couple of big plays. And then they connected 12 times for touchdowns last year. Meachman, Wazenried, best friends in second grade, do it with 5:41 left to play on the clock.
So this upcoming kickoff brought to you by Alexander Enterprises. They specialize in home remodeling, renovations, additions, kitchens, bathrooms, garages, new builds, decks, and painting. Give them a call before you start your next project at 624-9120.
So now it shifts to the Batavia approach. 5:41 is a decent enough time where you can do whatever it takes to get down the field. I think that you rely on Fortes and Grazio playing if you're the Blue Devils.
More than enough time. And when you trail, you can't score too early either. So they don't need to worry about the clock as Fortes, with a decent return up past the 30-yard line.
And the HFL defense has only given up 7 points since the 11:52 mark, 11:38 mark of the first quarter. So they have been on top of their game ever since that first drive. So they're just looking to continue doing what they've done all night. I think it all comes down to pressure on the quarterback, though.
Buchholz, as we mentioned throughout the entire broadcast, dual threat quarterback, able to make plays that break down from the backfield, able to penalize defenses that don't have a QB spy, as we have a handoff to Fortes, lowers his head, picks up 2 or 3.
Aaron Fasek again. He's adjusting to that middle linebacker role. We had him as our defensive player to watch last week, and this week he certainly has been somebody to watch. He's been in on so many big plays for the Cougars right there, fighting up blocks, keeping that to a short gain.
Approaching the 5-minute mark. Batavia with a 2nd and 8, trips to the near side. Buchholz, quarterback run play, design run play, powers ahead up towards midfield, and he's going to be cut down by Connor Finn. And that's the explosiveness that Buchholz brings.
Yeah, designed run. He's certainly gets a nice block from Fortes there, goes right up the middle. And if Connor Finn doesn't make that tackle, Bronx Buchholz may still be running.
There was only one HFL player that maybe would have been able to have a shot, and it was number 9, Keaton Yates. So first down and 10 for the Blue Devils at midfield. Buchholz to pass, steps up. HFL trying to go for the strip, but he's able to pick up 8 there.
Yep, back-to-back big plays by Buchholz, and Batavia with 4 minutes and change on the move.
Can see Fasek coming up, and number 7, I believe that's Holden Cam, defensive end for HFL, trying to rip that ball out.
Yeah, it's a good effort, but you got to get Buchholz on the ground too, and that's not been easy. Second and 2, great down here for Batavia. Might be time to spread the field, maybe go with Fortes. Trips to this side, try and get odd man advantage for Fortes.
2nd and short. Handoff, Fortes, left side. He's got some green in front of him, but he's going to be pushed out of bounds at about the 20-yard line.
Yeah, sometimes it's just about numbers. And with the 3 receivers to this side of the field, the Cougars had to account for them. Good blocking by Batavia gives Fortes a seam and a nice 20-yard gain. He's got to be about 150 yards or so tonight, I would think, Peter, unofficially.
So the clock stops at about 3.5 minutes in the fourth quarter. Batavia knocking on the door here, trying to tie this one up. Here's Buchholz on the design quarterback run, and again able to just rush forward for about 7 or 8 yards.
3 key carries on this drive for Buchholz, and this is exactly what Coach Veltz talked about, is responding to the responses. And Batavia has done that on this drive, making several big plays and marching down. And as we get under 3 minutes here, Peter, you start to wonder what happens if Batavia scores here. Do they go for 2?
Well, first they got to find the end zone, and here's 2nd and 2. Quarterback again on the run play is Buchholz, and he's going to be wrapped up and tackled. Going to be close to the first down marker depending on the spot.
He did stay in bounds, though, so the clock is continuing to run.
And it's Aaron Fasek. So forward progress is going to give him the first down.
And the chains are down, so it's 1st and goal. Batavia cannot get a first down without scoring.
Running clock, new 2-minute warning here. So it'll only stop on timeouts and incompletions. Here's the pat. Nope, it's going to be a run play. Buchholz, and it's Fasek again.
Yakabuchi as well.
Broke the tackle of Yakabuchi, and it's Fasek from, again, his middle linebacker position, able to just clean things up.
Good push all around by HFL, though. Ben Cook was there to disrupt. That play broke down for Batavia a little bit early.
So now under 2.
Ball at the 13-yard line.
And this happened previously when Batavia was in the goal-to-go situation. They got pushed outside of the 10-yard line. 2nd and 13. 90 seconds.
And obviously it's coming down to this drive. The clock running.
Buchholz, hands off. Fortes tackled. Somebody got a fistful of his jersey, and he just couldn't go any further.
Shirt tail tackle. We'll see that on the replay where it came from. Aaron Fasek again.
He's been having a series here for the Cougars. And it's now 3rd down. Clock. Nobody seems to be interested in stopping it. We're under a minute. Crowd is getting loud. 3rd and 11. Buchholz to run. He's going to be stopped. Still no whistle, and eventually dropped. So it's going to be 4th and goal for Batavia. And now we see a timeout pointing. It's going to be a Batavia timeout. Here's another look.
Cook and Englert on the stop there. You cannot give enough credit to this HFL defensive line and the way they've responded tonight. They have stood tall when they've needed to. Now it comes down to making a play on 4th down.
This timeout brought to you by Main Street Cafe, your hometown cafe with a location in both the village of Honeoye Falls and the hamlet of Mendon, with a wide-ranging menu including breakfast sandwiches, paninis, wraps, salads, milkshakes, and fresh fruit smoothies. There's sure to be something for everyone. Be sure to ask about their catering services and how they can help create a unique menu for your next special event. Main Street Cafe prides itself on their fresh, made-to-order food and daily specials. 4th and goal from the 11.
45 seconds. This is what we wanted to see all night, a tight game, a competitive game, and both teams have made big plays when they've needed to. I think that you've got to have a run-pass option here. Obviously, you've got to get to the end zone. A lot of attention will be on number 6, Cole Grazio playing. Mullen has made some big plays for them tonight, and they've liked Fortes too. So the ball's going to be in Bronx Buchholz's hands, and what he does with it is what we can't wait to see.
And if you're Batavia, I think this ball has to be in the air to the end zone. With the way that this game has been played, anything short is just too risky. So
they got twins to both sides.
Game on the line, 45 seconds. Doubles receiver formation. Head coach John Russ trying to call a timeout for the Cougars, and he does. Smart play there, able to see, that's what Batavia, that's the play that they pick. That's the formation. That's what they think is their best shot at winning this game. File that away.
And Coach Russ loves the chess game, and you know that he has studied a lot of film. And one thing that he has said to us over the years, Peter, though, and this is going to come down to this play and execution, even if you know it's coming, you still have to stop it.
Knowing it's one thing, Stopping it is another former HFL coach, Bill Donegan. This timeout brought to you by Main Street Cafe, your hometown cafe with a location in both the village of Honeoye Falls and the hamlet of Mendon, with a wide-ranging menu including breakfast sandwiches, paninis, wraps, salads, milkshakes, and fresh fruit smoothies. There's sure to be something for everyone. Be sure to ask about their catering services and how they can help create a unique menu for your next special event. Main Street Cafe prides itself on their fresh, made-to-order food and daily specials. How lucky are we, Steve, that this is the game we get? We had to
Friday
sit
night,
through a
so
rough
many
one last Friday, and we get to be rewarded with this.
so many storylines, same formation for Batavia.
4th and 11. 2 receivers on each side. Buchholz from the gun. He's going to throw. He looks. Fires one up towards the end zone. Incomplete. Incomplete. Cougars turn it over. Batavia turns it over on downs. No flags. 37 seconds left. Let's take another look.
I think it's Steinhoff that gets the hand up and knocks it down. Connor Finn on the coverage. It's Connor Finn. And the ball bounces off the thigh of Grazio Plain and falls to the turf. Connor Finn with a huge defensive play for the Cougars.
And Buchholz, if we look at that, he had his guy outside leverage, and they scored earlier tonight on that play where they have that fade route from the inside slot position, and he's got to throw it more towards the pylon for Grazio Plain to go up and make a play.
What a night for Connor Finn, though. The touchdown to tie the game at the end of the first half for the Cougars, and then the big play on defense. Just knock it down, knock it down. So
39 seconds, Batavia only with 1 timeout left. So the Cougars in victory formation here. And Meacham with the snap. If Batavia elects to just hold that last timeout, I think we got to do this one more time before this game becomes official.
And you see one of the Batavia players talking to the back judge, and you wonder if it's Grazio Plain. You wonder if he's asking about the call on defense or if there was a call on offense. But time is going to run out here, Peter, and this is one that the Cougars can hang their hat on.
And it does not disappoint. The highly anticipated Section 5 Class B rivalry matchup between HFL and Batavia, and there's our final tonight. 21 HFL, 14 Batavia. Cougars snap the 2-game losing streak to the Blue Devils, as well as get their first win in 2023. Now, before we sign off here, let's take a quick look at tonight's scoring plays.
So first play of the game, it's Fortes for Batavia. First handoff of the game, Makai Fortes. Nobody touches him. 81 yards all the way to the house. Connor Finn, who made the play at the end of the game, couldn't make it on the first play, but he was there at the end for the Cougars.
And then next, that Class B wide receiver, quarterback duo, Meacham to Wazenreed.
11 yards, touchdown. Batavia comes back. Here's Buchholz going to Grazio Plain. Same corner of the end zone that we just saw the game end. Over the shoulder catch over Connor Finn. It's amazing how many matchups these players had all night.
And then it was who? Connor Finn finding the end zone to tie us back up.
Then with just about 5.5 minutes left, Cougars get the go-ahead score, their first lead of the season. Matt Meacham to Andrew Wanzenreed for the second time tonight. And then we get to the end, Peter, and if we remember last year's game that Batavia won, they're trying to run out the clock on a 4th down play from midfield. They throw a long pass for a touchdown, and who was it caught by?
Grazio Plain.
Right? It's amazing how close these matchups are, how competitive they are, and we got a treat tonight.
Now, next week, Batavia will face off against, I believe, Monroe. Yes, they're hosting Monroe on September 22nd, and HFL will be traveling to Virtus Charter next week. Final score, 21-14. Got to shout out the crew tonight. Forgot to do it last week on camera. We got Chris Carosa operating replay and switcher, Oliver Hansen, and on graphics tonight, Bobby Bradley. I'm Peter Carosa, joined alongside Steve Bradley. Thanks so much for tuning in to Section 5 Class B football. live on the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. Until next time, thanks for tuning in.